So should we start the show?
Yeah, I feel like we've said a lot of information that could have been in the show as well.
I feel that as well. I feel
Should we
that,
just
you're now going to have to repeat
bring it back?
yourselves.
That's fine. We can do
Yeah,
that.
well,
Hey,
I've just
I'm
asked you
Australian.
questions.
I'm a born actor. That's what we do.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Is that how that works?
we're all actors.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Paid or just struggling to make it in the world?
Bit of both.
Do your best British accent.
I can't do that.
I thought you said you were an actor.
I didn't say I was a good actor.
Fair enough.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
So, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Andy. Andy's returned as I don't know, guest, host, old host.
Well, yes, ex-host, ex-guest, future host one day.
Is it
maybe.
ex? I thought you were just a host. You're in a host chat a lot. So
I'd like to stay in the host chat. That's why I just wanted to get on this show because I felt like the message you sent me today was kind of leaning towards my subscription expiring.
Vaguely threatening.
Chat.
So you thought I'm going to have to, just drop in and host something at some point.
Yep. I had
He's
to
been
renew my
desperately
subscription.
He's just been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. That's all.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So Andy is here as a co-host. Yeah. Respawn is also here, but Respawn is not talking. Respawn's in listening to us in case we say something detrimental towards him or the game or something. I don't know. His message is very cryptic, but he's not feeling very well. He is here, so you may hear a "I hate you" message at some point.
He's just so tired from going flawless and destroying everyone in the trials queue. He just can't bring himself to play anymore today or speak to us. He's just overwhelmed. That's all.
Maybe that's what it is. That he's lost his voice through so much enthusiasm that he's put out
screaming on his teammates. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just all the salt. It's just all the salt. Too much salt is not good for you. He's just
it's dried him up.
It has.
And can I just say, and Andy shows up at least as often as not ARF does. So I mean, if ARF's subscription is still good, Andy's definitely is.
That's true. That is true.
Update from Respawn: he will end us.
Cool.
I don't know whether that includes you, Andy, but he's going to end us. So maybe next week it's just going to be him and maybe Robot Respawn. Or maybe just him if he's ended us. So if we're not here next week, you know what's happened. Oh, Andy's okay.
I'm okay.
Okay. So it'd be Andy the co-host and Hunter Master Rager.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Fair enough.
So Andy, what do you main these days? I know you were a hunter, recovering hunter, maybe a warlock.
I was a hunter all of Destiny 1. I started off with 3 hunters in Destiny 1, then I felt like I needed to play other characters, as you do. And then Destiny 2, I was a hunter main for majority. And then probably the last year and a half, I've been a warlock main, and I don't think I can go back to anything else. It's just too fun. I love the warlock.
This is where Respawn would scream and berate you.
The floofing was terrible in the beginning, but I learned to live with the floof. And the floof and I are now one. I can floof and not die. It is great.
You are the AC-130 hovering above.
Flares away! Flares away!
Flares.
No joy load.
Okay.
Continue engaging.
Continue engaging.
Respawn's absolutely fine with the fact that you're a warlock because he doesn't want another hunter coming in here and stealing his thunder. So that's absolutely fine.
That's true.
You've got the Respawn seal of approval there.
Okay. Excellent. Well, he plays warlock as well occasionally. As long as I'm not a titan, I think he's he'd be happy.
Let's face it,
general.
he plays all of them. At some
Yeah.
point in his Destiny 2 career, I'm covering the whole Destiny 2 career there, so you can't, correct me on that. You have played Titan, and you do play Titan every now and then. There may be an objective or something behind that, but you still play your Titan. Just like I play my Warlock and I still play my Hunter. I like all of them equally. Just that the first one that I ever picked was a Titan. So, hence Titan main.
I mean, it's the Titans are good. You can't complain. PvE, they've been lacking occasionally, but they kind of bring them back here and there. But you're a PvP main anyway, so that's probably why you enjoy the Titan. You are a PvP main, aren't you? Like, that is your thing?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I would say I'm a PvE everything.
Okay. Isn't that PvE?
No.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it's PvA. PV anything.
Or anything.
Yeah, I'm PvA.
Okay.
I just PvA clue. I just stick to everything. Any game mode. Yeah, let's do that.
Yep. All right. That's a thing.
No, but I think I play Destiny the way that the majority of the game was created. That you play PvE, you get the loot, you take the loot, you go and play PvP with the loot that you get. I think that was kind of the whole loop of it, and it still is really. I mean, there are still better things in PvP to help destroy other PvP players, but that you go and get your Vex Mytha class from the raid, and you take that into PvP, and you destroy folks with it, don't you, Respawn?
Is Respawn actually talking for you guys?
He's sending me messages. There's little
Okay.
messages coming across the bottom of my screen.
Okay. I just thought I was just not a part of this conversation and everyone else was.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, so let me just clarify for people. I get messages come across the bottom of my screen from Respawn every now and then because he obviously can't talk. I would put them into Robot Respawn and get Robot Respawn to say them, but I'm too tired for that. So I do apologise. I'm just going to read whatever he sends me. To an extent, I mean, taking out swear words and anything else that he decides. Maybe I think he's left the room. That's probably what's happened now. Well, maybe he's collapsed. He's fallen over.
No, he's still here. He would not let us get away with the show without him having some at least knowledge of what's going on. And he did scream that you lied about how he feels about Warlock.
Yes, and that was all caps. So I'm guessing that if I ignore them, those caps aren't going to get any bigger. But I think we should stop telling people what Respawn's doing and tell people what's happening next week in Destiny.
What is happening next week in Destiny? That's a great question.
Well, it's not what I thought was going to happen. I thought, this week would be Strikes, next week would be Gambit. Oh no, Bungie have thrown a spanner in the works. It's not going to be that at all. You are going to have bonus Trials ranks and Trials labs with Capture Zones goes live.
I can't wait.
Ooh.
I don't know whether that's you can have regular Trials and the Trials labs is the Capture Zones. I think that's what I got from when they went through that whole twab of this is what's going to happen in Trials. You're going to have a separate node where you can select I want to go and capture zones and see how that mode plays out. Or you can just play regular Trials as they've tinkered with it. I'm guessing for this week. They may turn off what happened this week. We'll get into that later. There are going to be more secrets to unlock in the Shattered Realms. Clash will return to the Crucible, so destroy each other, which is just basically everybody versus everybody on the other team. Just go and hunt them down and kill them.
Destroy each other. Find the people, shoot them in the face. That's it. The end.
I feel like Clash has been quite sweaty lately. I went into Clash and I did not return. It was terrible. So I just went to Control where no one knows what they're doing, but it was still a better experience than Clash was.
I love Control.
That was just my
I do
experience.
love Control.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate with Control, depending how sweaty it gets when Clash isn't up or anything else for people to do.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting bonus trials ranks, but you're not going to get bonus valor that I know of. That they've said this could be subject to change. So there could be bonus valor, there could be bonus glory, for all we know, because they may decide when they flick the switch on Tuesday on reset that they go, oh, we missed that part of the next week in Destiny thing. But we can also stop Sepkis Prime in the Devil's Lair Nightfall.
Good.
So that's our PvE and PvP content covered for next week of what you're going to
Nice.
know and stuff. Plus, if you did go and collect the new exotic from the exotic quest from Mara this week, the Aegis Scepter, is that right, Andy?
Yes. Yes. So that is the catalyst joining us next week. Is that what's happening?
It is on reset, apparently. A lot
Nice.
of people were confused at why the catalyst didn't drop automatically, as it normally does. You know, you go and pick up the item, you shoot the item, and it says go to Banshee and pick up catalyst. It didn't do that this week, so people were like, where's my catalyst? I want my catalyst. So Bungie had to tweet out and say, not going to be here until next week's reset. I mean, they've got to edge out some of this content. You know, you've got to have something to do each week, which is nice. And, you know, if you are like Peroty and you haven't bothered to even start the quest for the Scepter, good news is now we are in week 4 at the moment. You can just complete the last 3 or 4 weeks and it will just kind of run you through the quest. So you can go round and pick up those Atlas SKUs on the locations from visiting Mara and going, I think it's Dreaming City, Tangled Shore, then back to Dreaming City, then somewhere else. Or maybe it's just all Dreaming City, I can't remember. But I hadn't finished last week's week 3 stuff. Went and finished that, then got the continuation of the quest to then finish off this week. Then got the scepter. Then went and did all the different things to unlock it. So yeah, you can just do it all in one now. As Bungie have kind of stated many times that you can just drop in at the end of the season and just do everything if you want to do that.
See, Peroty's just treating it like a good TV series. He's waiting until the right moment to the end, and then he just binges through, and he can enjoy it all at once.
Yeah. See, like the last 3 weeks I've done. So like, you know, I've done each week up until it says wait till the next week. So I haven't like completely not started the quest, which would not be, would necessarily, I wouldn't put it by myself to do that. I mean, because there've definitely been times where I'm like, no, I just ignored this for like the first 4 weeks because everyone complained, this is bugged, this is broken. Not if you wait till it all gets fixed like 3 weeks later, then you can just rush through it and it's great. So yeah, no, I've done up to this week. I just haven't, I think I've run my astral alignment, but I haven't done, you know, I assume it's go run astral alignment, go step foot on a planet for 30 seconds, and then leave, and then go do, you know, the Shattered Realm thing. I just want to know why did they put it in the middle part of like go step foot on the moon and then leave, go step foot on the Tangled Shore and then leave immediately? What do you have to do there? Nothing. Like the first week I went to the, I can't remember if it was Moon or Tangled Shore. I went there and I was like, okay, I'm looking around. I'm like, is there a thing to do? Do I need to go, you know, talk to someone? No, just put your boots on the earth and then peace out immediately. No reason to be there.
It would make more sense.
Why did you just need 3 steps and couldn't figure out a step 2? I don't. It was just odd.
Yeah, it was like they should have put in something like go and plant a rally flag or plant a beacon or something.
Right.
So time with the
Scan
fact
this
that
thing,
you're picking
shoot
up
this thing, just do something.
Shoot this guy. Yeah, shoot this guy because he's causing us trouble, and plant the beacon in the corner so he can't see it when he respawns for the other players.
Or even, you know, get what's the Aegis Scepter? What type of weapon is that called again? I always forget what they're called.
Trace rifle.
So yeah, so go on this planet, get trace rifle kills. Go on this planet, get trace rifle kills. Like something that kind of leads towards the theme of the weapon. But yeah.
Well, that was one of your challenges this week to get trace rifle kills, and you can see where they've tied that into.
That's true.
So week 5 of your triumphs and your challenges, you have the Wayfinder's Voyage 5. Use the Wayfinder's Compass to complete Wayfinder Voyage 5. Also, defeat Taken with bows anywhere in the system. So I would say Le Monarch because it is my favourite, but maybe Tiku's because you've got the automatic tracking, or the what's the Arc one that we can get?
I know. There's
the Trinity
Ghoul. Yeah, that's the
there
one.
you go, Trinity Ghoul, because you know with that and the Catalyst you get 1 kill. Then you can get another kill with the Chain Lightning, or just proc it with Arc subclass if you get a kill with Arc. That's pretty cool. So, rack those up pretty quick. You've got to get 100 bow kills. So, very quick. And your reward for that will be Challenge XP Plus, the Wolftone's Draw Bow, and the Wayfinder's Compass Calibration level.
Ooh.
So you also have Deceiving Appearances. Use the Aegis Scepter to carve a path through the illusionary barriers in the Shattered Realm and claim the treasures they conceal. Additionally, align beacons in the Shattered Realm. So you have to destroy 3 illusionary barriers and align 6 beacons. And you don't get the Challenge XP Plus, you just get Challenge XP. That's it. And Wayfinder Compass Calibration. Ascendant Ballast 2. Gather Ascendant Anchors from patrol destinations and the Shattered Realm. And you have to do 45 of the patrol Ascendant Anchors and 20 of the Shattered Realm Ascendant Anchors. But you get Challenge XP Plus and Wayfinder Compass Calibration levels. Stellar Aim. Defeat combatants with hand cannons and stasis damage. Combatants defeated in the Astral Alignment Activity grant bonus progress. So you've got to get 150 hand cannon kills and 150 stasis kills. So just use the new one, the Volpacula. Just use that one because that's a hand cannon and it does stasis. There you go. Sorted.
Done.
And do it in an Astral Alignment because it's probably not even 150 kills. It's probably like 50 kills and it triples it because you're in that. So
Yep.
there you go.
And that'll help you get the close range, whatever the Astral Alignment get kills with hand cannons being one of the things are. Just you can get all the things done at once. Just stack them all up, knock them all out.
Well, you say that, stack them all up, but going against the
I
grain
do.
this week, one of our challenges is zone control. So we're going to throw Clash at you as the premier feature for this week, where there are no zones whatsoever, but there are zones going to be in trials, which is also quite good. So if you're playing trials, you might be able to knock this one out. Capture zones in any Crucible match, and you have to capture 50. So it's a lot there, but I can guarantee you that there's going to be lots of zones to capture, especially in trials. Don't know how that game mode's going to play out, but it sounds fun. The Astral Calibration. Acquire the seasonal ritual weapon. So this is the rocket launcher, which Andy has done so far this week. What's that called? It's the
I don't know. I just got it like 10 minutes ago. I don't
The
even know.
Ascendancy.
You were so
Ascendancy.
you were so excited.
I was just excited because so many of our clan mates, I've seen it pop up every day, all week, and I'm like, why am I not getting this? And then I realized I'm not playing enough. So I played a lot today, and I got it, and I've already forgotten it.
Mm-hmm. I got it. I put it on my Warlock, and then I was like, all right, I earned that. Where did I put that? Because I unlocked the Crucible ornament for it, and I was like, right, I should find that weapon and put the ornament on it, and then it can be fancy.
Mm. And our final challenge of the week is Strike at Zivuras minions. Defeat Taken and Scorn bosses in strikes. And you have to defeat 5 Taken bosses and 5 Scorn bosses. And don't forget that you can do these over a period of time. You don't necessarily have to do them all next week. You can just, as we said in the past, wait till week 10 and just knock everything out all in one go. Especially with the Gambit stuff. Because let's face it, coming up, I mean, I could probably tell you, coming up in it's probably normally about week 7 or 8, it says play enough Gambit that your eyes bleed. Let's just check.
It does. And I mean, to be fair, we're only, I mean, assuming that the day the Witch Queen comes out, 22/22 is like, we'll call that the last day of the season for argument's sake, you only have 157 days left. That's 5 months and 4 days to get things done. Or if you want to think about it, 3,768 hours between now and then. So you've got some time to do these things. You don't have to binge through them. You can pace them out. You've got some time.
I did not only realize now that you mentioned it that the date it's releasing is that
Mm-hmm.
22nd of the 2nd, 22. That's good work.
Yeah, I mean, which they absolutely can't push it back. Now, my question is it the same for
No.
you all, or is it 02/23/22 for you?
Oh,
Did they screw up the time zones? Because I
it's
feel like
most likely
look,
going to be 23 for me.
yeah. I mean,
When
I feel like
America
somewhere
puts
they
out
have
a
to.
date, we all have to stick to it. It
Mhm.
can't be 11/9. It has to be 9/11. So
Dates are important. Oh yeah,
Dates are important.
I mean, I guess it'd be 22/02/22, which is even more silly.
Yeah,
We
we
don't
have
need
to
to use.
stick to
We don't
what
need
we're
to
told.
zero.
No, you don't. Just smash the 2 button. That's when the date comes out.
Yeah,
Or they'll delay it 6 months, and we're all very sad.
yeah.
And now we've twaddled along to give Nitedemon time to look at what he was going to look up.
Well, to be honest, I'm looking, and I can't find where unless it's next week. I've looked at all the weeks going ahead thanks to light.gg, and there doesn't seem to be one that says play enough Gambit that your eyes bleed. On week 9, it says you've got to have, I think it's like 20 trials wins or something like that, which is easier now than it was last season. You know, now that you can go in solo, you can just get those knocked up as and when. But yeah, it just
Yeah, and hopefully our actual real solo queue will be up by then. Because I can't remember if they said the solo queue was coming overall, like it is with Iron Banner, or if it's going to be one of the Trials Labs thing they're doing. I feel like they said they're just going to turn it on like they did with, as they tested with Iron Banner, just do the same thing, have a solo queue where you match solo people for trials.
Yeah,
Which will be interesting to see if they do that and the flawless queue, because I know they've always said, "Oh, we don't want to mash up the community too much." But looking at the numbers from last week, there's plenty of people now. If that, I'll be curious to see how it looks this week and the following weeks. But I mean, we'll get to it in the 12. They put a chart of, hey, here's who played trials, and it's like they broke the chart. There's so many people. It's like this has far surpassed any week trials has ever been a thing in D2.
Well, when I was playing tonight, a couple times we matched against a single player, and they just left, so we didn't get the win, unfortunately. But yeah, it's looking like people as soon as they see a triple stack, they're just leaving. So
Oh, really?
that one player may have been matched with 2 people that had just left. So I think they need a single player node, like a freelance node, because that's what I was expecting it to have, but it didn't. So yeah, they need that, because it's rough going against a 3 stack when you've gone in individually. I was surprised that was a thing.
it's surprising when you've managed to 1 stack and get to like say 4 or 5 wins with just everybody being single players in the lobby, and then you get to like the next game and then it's a 2 stack or a 3 stack, and
Yeah,
very similar. If you manage to win that, you then get to the next one and then it's again another 3 stack, but there are a lot better players than you, so it kind of yeah. I'd prefer it if it was just kind of all single players.
yeah. Maybe they'll add it in
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's
what was
one thing
Respawn's take on that?
Yeah, that's one thing. The textual respawn says that they did say Bungie did say they are going to increase penalties for players who leave, and they do say if you quit out multiple times, they're going to put you on a 30-minute timeout. How many multiple times is I don't know, because I know the 2 guys I was playing with this morning were saying, well, if I could disconnect, my internet quits out, I don't want to get kicked for it. And it's like, no, it's like it's not like the first time it happens. If you go in and you quit out and you quit out and you quit out, they're going to say, well, you're not playing this game anyway. We're gonna put you on timeout, so you can't play it. So I know they're at least putting in a little bit of protection around that. But yeah, I hadn't noticed. Again, I've only played maybe a dozen games total, and so far, knock on wood, no one's quit out. Maybe it's just we're on the console and it's a little less sweaty than PC, because I'm not going anywhere near PC trials. No, thank you.
But saying that, and we'll probably get onto it a bit later, I was playing with Peroty Monday night, I think it was, and on my phone, and I got knocked off the xCloud just as we were starting to load into the trials match. But I was able to then load back up and rejoin Peroty mid-game, or I think it was just after the first round. So it wasn't as bad. It was it literally, the game knew where I was and where I should have been, and it kind of didn't even give me the option.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had to actually do something, or if it just tried, because I know in the past, like when I've gotten kicked off things, it would say, oh, we're trying to put you back in, but it was always like something quick, or or we were matchmaking, it already then matchmade us. But yeah, because trials, it won't throw that 3rd person in, because yeah, we were 2 stacking it, and then we joined Odie joined us at one point, and we were going in 3 stacks. So it was 2v3 for a minute. But yeah, it was nice that you were able to join back in. So if you do get knocked off and can rejoin quickly, it was nice to see that, see it in action, see it actually work. Yeah, we may have lost that round, but at least our numbers were evened up and we weren't just stuck for the rest of it. But if you're solo queuing, and somebody quits, you're just kind of screwed, I assume, because I don't know if it has a way to put you back since you're not in that fire team. I don't know if it has any way to put you back into that game mode or just says, sorry, sucks to be you.
So, did you want to talk about your trials experiences, Peroty?
No, we want to tell people about other stuff first.
Okay, we can do that.
We'll get to trials.
We get to trials. Don't worry. We'll get to trials.
It does.
And then
It does feel good to be talking about trials and not in a totally dismissive. But that's a thing that none of us will ever care about. Let's move on. That shift in the last week or two has been nice.
Yeah.
So Andy, I know you're really curious because Respawn is also really curious. What is our Eververse for next week? Well, I can tell you. Next week, for silver, you have the Western Front, the weapon ornament for the Monte Carlo auto rifle. So this is your exotic ornament, which will be available for, stop squiggling that, for 700 silver. Looks pretty cool. Gives it a nice wood effect. Decent. We have the Pragmatic Powerhouse, which is your exotic sparrow. That will be for 800 silver. Then we have, scroll down. So your exotic class-based items. So you're going to have ornaments for the Shards of Galanor for the hunters, and this will be 600 silver. We have the Broken Dreams, which is the Titan helmet ornament.
What? No. What is this ornament? The Broken Dreams is for the Precious Scars, and they've somehow made that helmet worse. I don't know how you've done it, Bungie, but congratulations.
It looks like someone fell asleep and their child paper mache'd their head.
It does. It's so bad.
It's just so the whole exotic is wrong.
It is. It goes from smash Mama's China and put it on my head to I'm gonna wrap a bandana around it and paper mache it and say, "Look, Mom, I fixed it."
Yep.
Yeah.
No, just no.
But then I think it was Cool Guy, and I'll get onto it later, put out a video this week of why I might actually want this. So I might have to go and do a Lost Sector and get this. Anyway, back to our exotic ornaments. We have the Transversive Steps ornament, which is called the Mind Striders. Again, 800 silver. And then finally, we have the Drat and Blast legendary emote for 500 silver. And then for our Bright Dust, which we're not spending because we all want to be dinosaurs in a couple of weeks, don't we, Andy?
Yes, always.
2,500 Bright Dust. We have the Junkyard Steed, exotic sparrow. We have the Roar of the Worm. Now, I think this is the first time that this ornament has come up for Bright Dust in the Eververse store. This is for the Whisper of the Worm. And as far as I know, this has only been a silver bundle kind of exotic ornament. So if you like your Whisper of the Worm, this is a good ornament for that. And that's for 1,250 Bright Dust.
I thought at first it was a sparrow, and I got a little bit excited.
I did too.
It would, and maybe there is a sparrow that looks like Whisper of the Worm, but that would make Bungie make a sparrow based on the Roar of the Worm, because that would be amazing. I mean, if you can ride the Fighting Lion, why can't you ride the Whisper? Come on now.
Yeah.
No, but didn't they do one that was very similar? That was one of the Moon Sparrows. I think that's what Respawn's talking about. He's going like there are. I do believe the red one that you could. There's a.
It had spikes on it, like white spikes.
Yeah, it's a red one that had spikes and the ship to match as well. And originally, couldn't you only get them from the dungeon on the moon? I think. Oh no!
I don't
Yes,
that was it. No, they were meant to be.
Yes.
That was the whole controversy, wasn't it, about the Eververse thing? It was meant to go in the dungeon, or they looked like they were meant to come from the dungeon, but then they were put into Eververse because I remember that whole controversy about these weapons and these weapon ornaments and these exotic sparrows, ships, ghosts, whatever. They look like they're part of a set that should have been, something, a reward, but now they're actually in Eververse. It makes no sense. So there's a whole thing. So yeah. Anyway, back off the tangent. We have the Ozfield entrance. This is your transmat effect for 450 bright dust. Now, a very good shader, the Jacarina. So I do recommend it. It shows you that it's black, white, and grey, but it has a lovely hint of blue on it. I don't agree with the cost still, Bungie. 300 bright dust.
Bit much.
The big red. Sorry.
I was saying it's a bit much for a shader.
Yeah.
But
It definitely. We have our legendary emote, which is the big red button. And then we have some more exotic gear ornaments. So hopefully I've got this right. So some will be available for bright dust, some will be silver, and hopefully I've got the bright dust and silver worked out right. So we have the Queen Cobra, which is for the hunters for the Ophidian Space chest piece. That is 1,500 bright dust. We have the Giant, which is the Titan ornament for the one-eyed mask, 1,500 bright dust. And then finally, for the Warlocks, we have the Quesadillas, which is the Ophidian Aspects ornament for 1,500 bright dust.
make sure you rub some salsa on that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's only been available for silver up until now is the Viced Shell for the Ghosts, and that's 2,850 bright dust. Looks quite interesting. The Knuckle Bug ship, exotic, and that's 2,000 bright dust. Eat It Up, the rare emote for 400 bright dust. The ornament for the king, which is your thorn ornament, looks takenified.
Thornament.
Very nice. A thornament, yeah. 1,250 bright dust. I might pick that up. I might not. Depends on how much money I've got left in bright dust wise. Anyway, for being a dinosaur on all characters. I want to be a dinosaur on all characters now. I've decided. And then finally, we have the Crotus Bane projection, which is your legendary ghost projection for 1,500 bright dust.
Nitedemon, Respawn tells you it's a one-time infinite use shader. You purchase for one time. It's well worth it.
Oh, it is. It is. But I much prefer the cost of, I think it was like 40 bright dust when it was the same thing. You know, although I had to pay Glimmer, I don't see the ratio between Glimmer and 300 bright dust. But hey ho, I'm not Bungie.
And now I'm going to put words in Respawn's mouth because he's already said them many times. And the dinosaurs are terrible, and you're all bad people for choosing the dinosaurs. That's all.
Fair enough. We haven't chosen anything just yet.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even look at any of those armors when they were being announced, so I'll just take whatever they give to me.
Right. The quick the quick explanation of this: dinosaurs versus monsters. We all like the monsters. Well, I say we. Peroty, did you like the monsters? Or did you want to be a dinosaur and just didn't say?
I think I want to be a dinosaur because I didn't quite remember where the Titan monster one was from, Jason and the Argonauts, and
Jason and the Argonauts, yeah.
It's very silly. I don't need to be a Cyclops.
Okay, so when I say we, I mean the 2 out of 3 of us. We wanted to be monsters, and Peroty wanted to be a dinosaur. But the community voted for dinosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah, now what I voted for, I still couldn't tell you because I was like, it doesn't really matter. You'll give us one, and then you'll give us the other, and you may do what you're going to do anyway. So it's a moot point.
Just give us both.
Right now, I'm neither. I'm just a samurai. So,
Andy, are you also wanting to know what our lost sectors are for next week and what you can possibly
please.
get?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I need to know.
So I know that I'm telling you the dates and the days for these are like generic for 3/4 of the world, but it's normally an extra day ahead. So if I say Monday reset, it's normally Tuesday reset for you, isn't it?
Yes.
On the actual day, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to have to Australianize? Do a time conversion. There's a word there somewhere.
Australianized. Australianized?
Mm-hmm.
See, I nearly sounded Australian. Australianized. No, that's wrong.
Just don't do that. Ossify it. Just ossify it.
Ossify.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little Aussie on it, you'll be fine.
So, the reset for Monday, the 20th of September, will be the K1 Communion on the moon, and that will give you your arms. The 21st of September, Tuesday's reset, will be the K1 Crew Quarters on the moon, and that will give you your chests. The 22nd will be the K1 Revelations, also on the moon, which will give you your helmets. The 23rd of September, which will be the Concealed Void on Europa, will give you your legs. Bunker E15 will be your chance to then go and get arms on Europa on the 24th. 25th will be Perdition on Europa, and that will give you your chests. 26th of September on the Sunday will be the Bay of Drowning Wishes on the Dreaming City, and that'll give you your helmets. And then finally, back around to Monday, the 27th, will be the Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City, which will give you your legs again. And we will have links in the descriptions below the podcast notes of all the Lost Sectors for this season. But if you didn't enjoy just Legionless, I will link you some others from, say, Ibontis, Abbey Hour, Time Sausage Gaming. Anyone really that I find that is useful will be linked for that day.
And if you can't find one you like, just search YouTube for it. Because some people will do one on all three, for all three classes. Someone will just do it for one or the other. Someone will say, "I'm going to break this down and all, break down my loadouts, but this applies to everything weapon wise. But here's what I would do for each character." I think Abatis did like full runs because I used his to do the no backup plans last week. And he's like, I'll break what I'm, my plan is down on all this, and then he'll show you the full run on each, so you can be like, how did you handle this situation? So it's nice to see it from different perspectives and different loadouts, different characters.
Yeah, that's why I try and give you a different one each time I link something, so that maybe you didn't like the first time I linked somebody, so maybe this is a different one that somebody's done something differently that will kind of resonate with you and help you through. So yeah, I think that's everything now we've done this week. Eververse.
We played dress up. We've
Lost
told you where to get
Sectors.
your new exotics.
So I think we're moving on to stuff that Bungie have actually officially told us with like hot fixes and things. Unless there's something Respawn that we've forgotten that you want to kind of interject. Now's your chance.
Dinosaurs are still vomit. I mean, just standing statement.
Yeah. Titans suck. Yeah. Oh.
He didn't hear a word we said. That's okay.
Okay. Do we need to call 911 at this point? Have you collapsed?
I've got the 9. I've got the 9 and the 1 dialed.
Is this your only mode of communication? Is Luna nearby?
Is she the
I think
reason that you need an
Yeah.
ambulance
Oh, that's a
or
good
the
point.
police?
You have to be able to stand in order to collapse. Mm-hmm.
I just got a picture of him laying on the floor with his headphones. Just like listening to us. Oh, bless him. So, Peroty, that there was a hot fix that they forgot to tell us information about, I believe.
They did, as it was happening. We did warn people about the big hotfix coming, but not about the little hotfix that came and went, and it's already happened. So yeah, they pushed a big hotfix on Thursday, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna release hotfix 3302 and kick you out of the game for a minute, and we're gonna fix a handful of things." So if you read the TWAB, that they told you all about how your Scorch cannons are no longer going to have barriers in the Fallen Walk Republic event that throw you across the map and preventing hero completions. They'll also tell you that the strike streaks are now going to work as intended, and your Dawn Chorus Warlock exotic Anti is now going to correctly extend the burn damage on enemies. And if you're trying to get your Deadeye, the Sweet Spotter Triumph will now correctly progress when killing wyverns with precision damage. So that's been holding you back. There you go. Those are fixed. And then if you looked at all the hot fixes, because we would never just not give you all the hot fixes, because that's not who we are as people. Don't buy the Precious Scars ornament. Just don't do it. But if you do own the Precious Scars and you did do the Legendary Lost Sector for it, and you do use it for some reason, they fixed it not restoring shields on matching weapon kills. So now it does that properly. For Warlocks, your Prometheum Spur would not spawn combos. Would not spawn combo rifts in kills when the rift energy is full. Just wouldn't do it. It refused, but now it's going to do that for you. And Dawn Course we talked about. And if you've been excited to use your Worm God Crest or your Radiant Dance Machines, they've now been re-enabled in all activities. So dance the night away, friends. You can do it again. One I kept seeing all over Twitter, which is how I knew the TWAB had come out, the impact and detonation of explosive light on rocket launchers has now been increased damage to 25%. So that fancy new Ascendancy rocket launcher you just got, Andy, now better when you pick up little orbs of light.
Yes.
Nice.
And I have a video for you for that if you are interested in what the damage numbers are from Erol.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
If you have Danger Zone, it'll now work correctly on those rocket launchers, which it was not working correctly before. They've tweaked the shoot to loot countdown a little bit on that new perk. They've increased it to 4 seconds, and they do say this is a temporary measure to prevent shooting a brick that can't be picked up to trigger the auto reload. They've also fixed shooting the ammo picked up by other players to get additional ammo. So I guess people were shooting to loot too many things, and they were like, "That's too much shooting and too much looting. We're going to stop that." Your Hawk Moon and your hand cannon holster will no longer allow for repeated paracausal shots, and your Aegir Scepter that you now have and are blasting people with and freezing them will now properly drain super when in empowered mode, which I'm guessing is a thing it was meant to do, and now it's doing it. So if it's draining your super, yeah. So I guess there's an empowered mode for the Scepter. So it will it will drain the super now properly, where I guess it was not before. So if you've been running around with it and having super, that's changed, friends.
Yes, but as I was just about to say, Respawn, that's for the Catalyst, which is coming next week. So part of the Catalyst buff to it, to this new exotic weapon, is once your super is fully charged, you can then trigger somehow on the weapon to use your super and do extra damage to your weapon until I think something like if the weapon is holstered or your super's fully drained, it will do bonus damage to targets. So that's interesting for people that kind of save up their supers and don't use them.
That's cool. That's me.
Yeah, or have a super that makes you run around like a drunken toddler and you can't control it. So good.
Yeah. So something to look forward to next week with all the tests of all the YouTubers.
Yeah. So in addition to actually being able to fix your Deadeye and achieving that now, if the Wyverns were holding you back, your titles can't be gilded before the seal is claimed. So you have to claim it before you can gild it. Sorry, just the way things work. Our strike streaks are working again, which basically, if you joined in progress or were pulled forward, they weren't working and weren't to give you the strike streak bonuses. Now they are. Players can no longer apply the chill touch to themselves or allies in strike. And this was a strike modifier that wasn't supposed to apply to Guardians, but it was, so you could freeze yourself or your friends. You can't do that anymore, allegedly. Players can reset the rank if they haven't picked up all... Players can reset the rank if they haven't picked up all of the rank reward items. So I guess you had to pick everything up before in order to reset your rank. Bungie also says there is a quality of life improvement for rank resetting coming later in the season. That's all they say about that.
That's going to be you can do it from orbit or something, isn't it? And you can
possibly.
I really hope
if
so.
you don't have to go and pick up all the rank rewards, it's then going to be you can just reset it in orbit, so you can just stay immersed in what you're playing.
Yeah, that would be nice, and you could keep that streak going, keep the streak alive. Which I know going to the tower won't break the streak, but it breaks your immersion if you have to go talk to a man.
It does. You're like,
reset your thing, and then go back to what you were doing.
Give me access to the rewards from space as well.
Exactly.
Might as well.
Yeah, maybe like if you use the Bungie app, like you can with your season pass on your previous track, it will give you those items. You can't access the stuff that's on your season pass for this season, but it will give you the previous ones that you can just automatically send to your characters. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and Respawn asked a good question. Hey, who has the Aegir Scepter catalyst, to know that it doesn't work properly? It's like, hopefully QA. Maybe it's something they spotted late and said, oh, by the way, this is broken. You don't have it yet, but it's broken. Or Cheese found a way to get it early. Who really knows? In the Broodhold strike, players can no longer be stuck after encountering Inanna for the first time. The Hollowed Lair, the Fanatic, can no longer become stuck on the corner, and the Spider Tank can no longer be killed early. And apparently the Moon Lost Sector signage, it should be accurate now. So when you're going to do your Lost Sectors on the Moon, your burns, shields, and champions should now actually tell you the correct things of what you're actually going to encounter in the Lost Sector. Which is good, because there's a number of the ones that Night even mentioned you'll be trying to do this week for your new exotics. Friends on Steam, if you're trying to buy the Beyond Light Deluxe Edition using the timeline in-game, you are taken to the page for the full Deluxe Edition instead. don't know what the difference of money is there, but I'm guessing a good bit. And for some reason, if you're on Windows 7 and you're trying to launch the game, you couldn't due to some incompatible DLL files. Friends, Windows 11 is out. At least get on a Windows 10. Come on, I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. A few more things. If you were on the Chinese gaming site Zunyu, your offer is now rewarding you corrected items. Your Warlock's Nova Warp will now blink if hold sprint is active. Talked about the barriers already. 2 for Nitedemon specifically. Your Iron Banner control has increased the score to win from 125 to 150, so it'll match base control. So you'll need 25 more points to win an Iron Banner match. And they've adjusted the Iron Banner Mercy threshold to reduce the number of games that end shortly before the target score is reached. So if the game is close, or I guess not so close because you're going to be mercied, it'll actually play out the full game to 150 now from 125. So, Nitedemon, you have more Iron Banner. The games will last a little bit longer, another 25 points.
Fair enough. I like that. Yeah.
I was like, and he's wandered off because he says nothing.
No, I like my Iron Banner. So, I'm guessing.
Oh, we're not done yet, unless you have something else to talk about this in Iron Banner.
No, I was just going to say Iron Banner. I'm guessing, and this is purely just a guess, that we're in week 2 of trials at the moment. Week 3 is going to be our Crucible labs. We're going to put in control zones and whatever. So I'm guessing week 4, Iron Banner will be back. It won't be week 4. It'll be whatever week it is in the Bungie timeline, but not next week, but the week after. Iron Banner should return.
That weekend is going to be very sweaty because aren't they switching off trials while Iron Banner's on? That's going to be very sweaty.
Yeah, no one.
So
no
I'm
one
just giving up
that weekend.
I'm just giving all the trials hardcore family, just notice before Bungie gives you notice that trials will be switched off for that weekend. Again, AZ, trials will be switched off that weekend. That Iron Banner is back. So not next weekend, but the weekend after. I'm guessing because 4 weeks we should have my Iron Banner back.
It's definitely going to be switched off. It just the part we're not sure about is when it happens. But there's definitely no trials that weekend. That's not up for debate unless Bungie breaks something.
So I'm saying that's going to be the week of the 28th of September through to the 4th of October. That week's going to be Iron Banner.
And Respawn says it sounds bad to the guys getting mercied. Now it takes a little longer to get mercied, but just accept it. Just lean into the bullets in your face. Just like if you're trying to read your Japanese lore entries, the translations should now be correct. So the lore might make a little bit more sense in Japanese. And apparently several languages didn't have a description for the seasonal artifact. In addition to that, 700 naughty guardians have had their names reset to guardian for code of conduct violations. So if you see more guardians around, they've been naughty people and are now just guardian. I assume guardian pound, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the things are. And just another reminder, we're going to tell you now. And see, even before I knew Andy was going to be here, I prepared this. So on Thursday, September 23rd, we have our extended downtime. So this Thursday coming up, extended downtime in Destiny 2 to prepare for the next hotfix. So this is not the hotfix. This is just preparation for the hotfix. So on Thursday, guys, just basically take the day off unless you're in Australia. Andy, I think this is the one time you all benefit. So
Nice.
if you're in Pacific time, 5 to 10 a.m., the game's gonna be down. Just take the morning off, 5 to 10 a.m., game's offline. If you're in the Eastern time zone, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., take it off. Just no. Nitedemon, noon to 5 p.m. UTC, your game's offline. Australia, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. So you can play all day, go to bed, and it'll be back up by the time you get back up again.
And
I'll
I hope
tell
it'll
you,
be back up by the time he gets up.
Right.
I mean,
Now, it's a 5-hour downtime, and all of these are subject to change. So remember, kids, if it's 5 hours to start with, it's going to be longer. So don't sit here at 1 p.m. Eastern going, I have had my lunch, I'm ready to go, and it goes to like 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., 4 p.m., or 3 a.m. You never know.
What that says to me is play Destiny until midday and then get on with my chores.
Try convince your wife that that's a good idea.
No, we don't tell the wife. We don't
Okay.
tell we don't say anything about our schedule of playing
Okay.
ever.
We don't. Just like we don't talk about the known issues, except we do. So
we don't play during the day.
We
ever.
don't. We would never. He would never
No.
do that. That's just not a thing.
No.
Just like you would never masterwork a Trials of Osiris ranked weapon, not the adept weapon, but the ranked one. You would never masterwork those, because you can't. It's broken right now. But good news, there is a fix coming next week. So if you've got a rank up reward from Trials that you do want to masterwork, you can't do it yet, but you should be able to do it next week. They say the fix is coming. They claim.
These are the ones that are on the track that you can get from Saint 14 from just ranking up.
Yep. Yeah, your rank.
Okay.
Well, they say the rank reward weapon. So yeah, it is. It's not the one from the engrams. I assume it's the ones from the track you get from ranking it.
So
Which
I
is a
believe
good
that's
question because I
Sniper
haven't
and the
tried
hand
any of
cannon.
them.
Sniper and hand cannon, I think, are the ones that are on the track.
Well, there we go. Yeah, I haven't tried to masterwork any of them yet, but yeah. So, but don't try. You can't. It wouldn't be Destiny if you weren't trying to inspect your shadow gloves on the Warlock armor, because there's a gap between the player's arm and torso. Just like the Titan interlaced gauntlets have a piece of the armor just floating, just extended from the arms through space magic.
And like the hunters that have no heads.
Yeah, there's a bunch of headless hunters running around. I'm not sure which helmet is not showing up, but yeah, played a couple of headless hunters in Trials this morning, which they did surprisingly well for having no heads. If you're seeing a lot of bird errors, maybe it's because you have champion mods equipped when you're visiting the Wish Wall and Last Wish. So take your champion mods off if you're trying to go to the Last Wish Wall, or you might get birded. You're tracing the stars. One displays the same location for Atlas SKUs twice. The hidden location is actually the distant Spine Island tree. And if you don't know what that is, put it into YouTube and someone will take you there. Players can purchase a second passage and accidentally overwrite their 7-win passage, which would be very silly. You shouldn't do that. The Corrupted Nightfall's triumph to score over 100,000 points isn't counting points correctly. So if you're really trying to get that done, maybe don't. And if you got a Horror's Lease to drop from that Corrupted Nightfall, it's dropping at 0 power. 0. Not even 1. 0. So they're aware of it. So infuse it, but don't put it on because it'll make you very weak and you'll be very confused. And Respawn says heads are a crutch anyway.
Yeah. I do believe that the Horror's Lease is dropping purely so that people can complete the seal for, I think it's the Dreaming City, because it's part of the weapon set that you can get to get the seal, to get the title. So it's one of those weapons in that set. That's why it's still in that kind of, it can drop from that Nightfall kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I was like, because I got one this week and I was like, oh, 0 power. Okay, we'll put you away for now until we fix you or not. Yeah, it's a known issue, so assuming they'll fix it at some point, but I'm sure it's not high on the priority list. Yeah, and that's our what's broken, that's our what's fixed, and yeah, all sorts of things happening.
Thank you very much.
Remember, there's a cold fix before the hot fix. Don't forget.
Cold brew before hot fixes. Caffeine.
So Andy, as you are here as a co-host this week, would you like to take us through the 12?
Sure thing. So, just from the top?
You do you.
All right, let's see.
Wouldn't you start from the bottom and work your way up? It's not the Aussie way.
Yeah, it really is. I should do that, actually. Just let me flip
You
my
do you,
monitor upside
and
down.
we will just correct you as we go along.
Okay. All right, so this week at Bungie, we sent you out on a new quest. It's a new week, and we kicked off a brand new quest, Ager's Scepter. See, to me, I'd pronounce it Ager's Scepter, but, whatever. I don't know who Ager is, or what he does, or what she does, what they do.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that, because
if only
lore people will get upset.
If only we had a lore person here to tell us all about
Yeah.
Ager, and then we'd know, but we don't. So we're going to sit here in our ignorance.
I mean, I only said that so people come at Arf to tell us. So he's forced to come onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's a busy man.
he is.
He actually has a real
job.
job.
He is. Does
He
he?
has real
Oh.
jobs and knows real people, unlike us that just know us.
Doesn't mean we can't shame him a little bit. I mean, that's what friendship is.
That's true.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ager's Scepter is a weapon worthy of a king. a prince. Either way, it's yours for the taking. Sorry, Crow. No hard feelings since you did, you know. So yeah, so with the lore within the game, it was all about Aldrin. That was meant to be his weapon, wasn't it? But I won't go into that because that's Arf's job.
There's even a spoiler warning on the lore on Ishtar Collective. If you go to look at it, they have a spoiler warning. So if you want to go look at it, it'll show you the little flavor text, but it won't show you the whole lore if you don't want to be spoiled. Apparently,
This new exotic stasis trace rifle is sure to chill your enemies out. I was going to start listing off Mr. Freeze quotes, but I'll spare you this time. If you have purchased Season of the Lost, you can start this quest by speaking with the Queen, Mara Sov. If you've already obtained the weapon, nice job. You can start hunting for the catalyst after the reset on September 21. That is not all that is going on this week. We've heard some chatter around some new discoveries in the Shattered Realm. We don't like spoiling secrets though, so you'll need to go investigate. Or just go check YouTube. We aren't the boss of you. I'm sure Cheese will have something somewhere. He always does. We also released a new calendar this week to showcase some of the beats coming later in Season of the Lost as we lead up to the Witch Queen early next year.
It really is a basic calendar, isn't it? Compared to what we've had
Yeah.
in the past, this is the most basic of basics of this is what you've had, this is what is coming next month, then this is what we've already told you is coming, but it's still basic. This is what's coming.
It really feels like they've learned their lesson, and they're like, you can't yell at us for being, for things being wrong. If it's just, multiple months, hey, here's what's going to happen. When in that month, you'll figure it out. But yeah, just sometime in these 3 months, this thing will occur.
I mean, we could start Festival of the Lost on the 31st of October, and you can't hold us to the fact that we didn't start it earlier because we said October/November. So technically, the 31st we started it. And the Season of the Lost update, we could start that at the end of November if we felt like it.
The whole thing could run from October 31st to November 1st and be done with it. They're like, it was 2 minutes. Sorry, you missed it. It wouldn't be wrong.
So what have we got coming, Andy?
So we've got the Season of the Lost Begins, which has already happened. That was August to September.
Well, we're still here.
Well, we're still here, I guess. So yes, that's true. So crossplay live, Astral Alignment and Shattered Realm, Legendary Weapon Quests, Exotic Quest, Revamped Trials of Osiris begins.
Right, tick all of them. Got them. Yeah. What's
so,
next?
So Andy, cross prey. Is that what happens when you solo queue in the trials and you cross prey? You get a good team to come with you?
It really is. It really is. I've got a couple of newbie friends that joined the game recently, and I forgot to tell them, but I forgot myself that they're both on PlayStation. I took them into Crucible, not realizing what I had done, and I had put them into the PC pool.
Oh right, and you're on PC. Oh, you're a bad man. You're a bad man.
They're wondering why it was so terrible. I'm like, this is normal.
This is the normal level of suffering. No, it's new and enhanced suffering.
I've seen a video by True Vanguard who says that it's all the same no matter where you play, and he's done tests. So there.
Okay.
If I could be as good as him, I'm sure he'd be right.
Yeah. All right. October to November, we've got Festival of the Lost event, masks, candy, and haunted sectors activity. That should be good. I've still got masks from the last 5 years. I need to get rid of them. Oh, actually, no, I can't get rid of them. I can't.
No, Night's going to tell you to
stay in the vault.
I think I've still got candy, to be honest.
No, if you look at it, it's dried up and shriveled.
Okay.
They
Does
deprecate it each
Does
season.
that mean I've got an extra slot now?
Yeah.
Or am I still to keep it?
Once you delete it, it could. Now is that a now? Is that the hunter there they have in a little picture? No, it's not a great picture and it's very small. But is
that the Warlock and the Titan?
Is it okay? Oh right, yeah. Well, the Titan I could tell because of the stupid horn and the one eye. But at least it looks like a more rendered out dino head, more than the paper mache what they gave us. I mean, so
I'm telling you, Grimlock, Transformers Grimlock. That's what it looks like. Me, Grimlock, you friend.
I mean, there's the Titan one still looks stupid, but I mean, it's a Titan. That's just who we are as people. I've come to accept this. But the Dino looks better, looks less paper mache. I mean, still need to see it in real life, but I have hope, and it sort of
Looks
answers
a
our
bit
question
glowy.
of and at least it answers our question of since the forest is gone because the entire planet's gone, so there can't be a forest there. Where we're going to go, and I guess haunted sectors, lost, found, but haunted nonetheless.
Yeah. All right. Season of the Lost updates: Grandmaster Nightfalls, Astral Alignment, and Shattered Realm difficulty options.
We're just going to ramp stuff up, basically. That is
Yeah.
everywhere. Everything's going to be ramped up. You guys have now got to 1330 and whatever on your artifact, and that's it. Everything's going up, and we're going to make it harder.
Sounds great.
You don't have to do it, but it's still going to be there, just in case you want to.
I mean, I'll try if I can.
Mhm.
December to February, Bungie 30th anniversary event. New dungeon, Galahorn exotic quest, new 6-player offensive, iconic weapons from Bungie's past, and much more. Now that I'm interested in. That should be fun. I'm considering pre-ordering the DLC early because otherwise I won't have that access to that. Is that correct?
You can buy it separately. Everything you can buy separately. So if you want to, instead of paying like $1 billion Australian to get all of it, you can only pay $500 million to get the 30th anniversary set first, and then you can still get the deluxe set of the Witch Queen after. So you could say, save yourself a bit of money, and then for Christmas, say, can I have some points to go towards Steam to get whatever for the Witch Queen Deluxe Edition afterwards? Which is probably the way I'm going to do it. It's just I would normally buy everything all in one, but it seems a lot cheaper at the moment because I can lay out like £25 myself and pay the Bungie 30th anniversary event, and then for Christmas I can say, can I have some Xbox points? Like a child I am.
I mean, I've already
to see the in-laws' face of going, you want Xbox points?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've already spoken to the wife and said I may need to spend this much before Christmas. It's on Destiny, but it might sound like a lot of money, but it'd be worth it. And then I said I will also have to buy it for GDAD as well. But yeah.
Yeah, but you can get around that because your in-laws actually do play Destiny, whereas mine look at me like, you are a grown man. You should not be playing games.
I mean, that's what my mother-in-law thinks about us, her husband and myself. But yeah,
well,
that's all right. Seasonal events, Moments of Triumph, and The Dawning.
What's Moments of Triumph, Andy? Could you explain that to anybody that doesn't know what that is?
Moments of Triumph is basically, it's celebrating all the activities that you've completed kind of within that year, and they sometimes make you do them again, even if you've already completed them.
What do you mean sometimes make you do them again?
Okay, so
Always make
you
do
have
them
to
again.
always do them. Well, are any of the triumphs kind of backwards completed?
Some of them were. So basically, this is like another Triumph node seal that you can get. You may see some Guardians running around the towers with Moments of Triumph XX15X whatever from 2019, 2018. So yeah, we have Moments of Triumph, and then this after our name if we're running around. Normally around when Moments of Triumph come up, people like to flash off the fact that they've completed last year's events or the previous year's events. We've been here since day dot kind of thing. But yeah, some things are retroactive. Some things that you do have to go and do. I think last year, before they vaulted everything, you had to go and do all the raids that were available at the time. So you had to do a Crown of Sorrow, you had to do the Spire of Stars, you had to do Leviathan, just to get these ticked off. But they gave you some cool things. If you did all the raids, you got a very lovely emblem that looked really nice, and there were shaders, there were other things that were available as you kind of progressed and did this. And normally this comes along with the Solstice of Heroes, because you get Solstice and you get Moments of Triumph all at the same time, and you can do a lot of stuff. And it's kind of a big event, but this time it looks like we're getting the Dawning along with this. So, Andy, what is the Dawning?
The Dawning is basically a Christmas event, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
just
is it Christmas in Australia?
it is. It's not snowy. It's very hot and humid and gross, but it's still Christmas.
Fair enough.
That's
But
right.
around the
Go to the tower to cool
Christmas
off.
Christian time. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
around the time that the Christians celebrate Christmas. I don't know what it is for other religions. I do apologise. I am not au fait with everything like that. But around the 25th of December, there is a Dawning event.
There's
which
lots of snow
celebrates
in the tower.
snowballs.
You can throw snowballs at each other. You can freeze other
Yeah.
guardians. Quite fun.
Which were available in strikes, weren't they? At some point, you could run along, and there were like these piles of snow on the ground, and you could pick them up like a dunking ball and throw them at enemies. You could throw them at your teammates. So yeah,
And is this the event? Is this the event that you bake cookies, or is that a different event?
No, that's the Dawning, isn't it? Baking
Yes.
cookies and getting
Yes.
extra stuff. So Grandma Stranger Danger, who Arf likes to refer to as Eva Levante, will be back somewhere in the tower, and she gives you a holiday oven. Last year she didn't upgrade it. The year before we had the holiday oven 1.0. 2 years ago we had the 2.0 version, and last year she just peddled out the 2.0 version again. So maybe we're going to get the 2.0 version again this year, which basically, if you've already completed recipes from the previous years, and it was every time you got a kill, wasn't it, that with certain weapon types, certain archetypes, certain kills like melees, grenades, anything like that, supers, it would give you a kind of different ingredients for your cookies, and then you would then have to mix these cookies in an oven to create cookies to then go and deliver to vendors on the different locations and things like that. So, and then they would reward you with up to legendary gear. Sometimes you'd get enhancement cores, enhancement prisms. I think they kind of updated it in the last couple of years. So I think there was also like sparrows and ships, shaders, ghosts, also available for doing stupid amounts of baking. But then every year there's like a new vendor that kind of pops up somewhere in the tower. Have we got one this year? Is there a new person that's kind of popped up? I don't think there
there's
is.
this person. I think her name is Ikora Ray. I think she's new.
No.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I think all the vendors that we've had, because we had a lot of them go away, and then last year, I mean, we've had Beyond Light for just nearly a year now. So all the vendors that we had last year should, if you've baked the cookies, in theory, they should already be preset in this oven that you already know how to do. Because I think year one, wasn't it? You had to, there was like lists from YouTubers going, right, if you bake this ingredient with this ingredient, it will give you this. And it was a lot of figuring out. Whereas when they updated it over the last couple of years, it was pretty much set. If you already unlocked it any time in the last couple of years, this oven automatically knew what cookie you wanted to do. And you could even masterwork it. You remember this? You masterwork the oven, and the costs would be brought down, so you could bake more things to get more things from vendors. So yeah,
There might be 3 more cookies. I'm thinking Marasov, Savathan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And possibly that friendly harpy.
Does Atheon get cookies? Does the Templar get cookies?
Mithrax, yeah, Mithrax, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mithrax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I apologise. We have got new vendors that we could go.
Yeah, Crow cookies.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder
So, yeah,
if they're going
look out for
to.
those.
I wonder if Mithrax's cookie, if they're gonna make us use the ingredients that we received from killing Elixni.
You know it. Eat it. Eat it. Countrymen are delicious.
No, it'd be Vex. He'll like eating the Vex.
Yeah.
Can we turn Osiris into a cookie? Is that an option?
Possibly. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in the calendar. Again, there's no specific dates, so that they could be quite ambiguous about when things are dropping. If things are subject to change, they don't need to actually say this is subject to change. This is just between these 2 or 3 months. This is what you're going to get, and you know you're going to get something. I would have thought that the dawning would come before Moments of Triumph, so they'd start that around Christmas, and then Moments of Triumph would be kind of January, February, towards the end of. But maybe it is literally throughout December to February. You're going to get Moments of Triumph, so you get a lot of time to actually complete these triumphs.
That'd be
Right.
nice. I might be able to get the shirt this year.
I feel like
Maybe.
the Moments of Triumph. I feel like it's gotten longer, or maybe I'm just remembering the season that went on. And again, I mean, we have 6 months of season here to cover, so they've got some time to stretch these things out too.
I think last year it was quite a lot of stuff because a lot of stuff was getting vaulted. So it was like, go and complete this because this is your last chance before it gets vaulted, and we will acknowledge the fact that you've actually done these things, regardless of whether you've played Leviathan Raid a billion times before. You need to go and do it again, and you need to complete it on the hard difficulty to get this kind of thing, and then you can show this off in game, and then everybody's forgotten about that 2 years later.
Yep.
But you may see some people with the emblem that say, "I'm a god slayer." Not
And
really a god slayer, but you know what I mean.
Respawn makes a good point. No Dead Orbit cookies. No Future War cookies. They're not here. No cookies for them at all.
Yeah.
So have you guys queued up? Are you waiting in line for the lighthouse?
I am. I'm still waiting in line for the lighthouse. I'm still there.
It's a
from
very
last
long
week.
queue. Very, very long queue. I feel like it's not moving at all. It's going backwards for me.
Has it really, or has it just made it?
So that's an escalator. We need you to step off the escalator and get in the line over there. It's to your left.
That's what it is.
Has it made it more difficult, or is it putting you against people of very similar skill levels so that it's very evenly matched, or not?
I think it's made it very inclusive for everyone. I think it's a good change what they've done, and it's just I'm just on PC. I'm going to suffer regardless, but it is better. It makes me feel like I do have a chance to maybe not reach the lighthouse, but at least I can get my weapons, my armor that I would have never received in any other season. So I welcome the change.
Yeah. So last week, Trials of Osiris returned, and we did talk about it and our experience last week. After a little mini hiatus, they've made a lot of changes to the mode and have been eagerly awaiting to see our reactions. And judging by the data and the feedback, it looks like we are enjoying the mode overall. So, what are the stats for the first week?
So 750,000 players played Trials.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's more than I think they said they've seen since the early days of D2 when it was new and no one knew you could go in and get destroyed in it yet. Yeah, 750,000 people. Not bad.
But not only that, 120,000 of those were first time ever players.
That's good. That's what we wanted.
Exactly. Like I hadn't stepped foot into Trials until today myself, but in Destiny 2 in general, I don't have any memory of stepping foot into Trials whatsoever. So yeah, that's huge. Also, another 470,000 people hadn't played recently either, so it's bringing older players back into it, which is great.
Curious to see what the changes are, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's super interesting that between the first time and the haven't played recently, that's almost 600, 590,000 people. It's almost 600,000 people of the 750,000. So there was 150,000 people who play, and then we just blown that number out of the water of people, stepping in for the first time or trying. And then Andy will tell us, how it actually went. Did people have success?
Well, 237,000 players went flawless, and I did notice in our clan Discord, it was just popping up ever since the trials launched this season. It was just this person went flawless, this person went flawless, and it was great. It was good to see. Really,
yeah, it was really nice and encouraging to see so many people actually get there and achieve something that hadn't been attainable for quite some time due to various different reasons, But and 105,000 of those were flawless for the first time.
That's how it should be. Like, Trials has always been very, very elitist, which I get it. It's an elite activity within the game, but it the game shouldn't it shouldn't block. It's not blocking
Yeah, it
people,
shouldn't
but it's
segregate
just
people.
it's
Yeah.
segregating them just based on skill, which it doesn't make it fun.
I think what Bungie have realised at the moment is that this isn't an esports game, and they've tried. It isn't going to be an esports game. It's an every person's game, rather than an elite kind of game. Yes, there are elite parts to the game. We have these amazing players that can do flawless raids. They can do solo raids. They can do solo trials. They could do so many wonderful things, but it isn't every person's game, and that's what I think they've now acknowledged with the changes to trials, because a lot more players were playing Iron Banner, even though a lot of people said they didn't like it, but it was one of those game modes that came up every now and then, and you saw an influx of people going into PvP, either to have a good time or just try, Iron Banner. And as you know, I enjoy it so much, and the changes that they implemented with this new season of Trials of Osiris have got me interested enough to actually say I want to play each weekend as well. I want to try at playing Trials each weekend, and I'm guessing it's the same for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Like that was never going to be a thing for me. I was never going to enter Trials unless I was going to be carried. But now I can. It was like when what they did with competitive, as well. That they made it basically available for everyone when they introduced the freelance mode. It's just I feel like I can just go in and maybe have fun, maybe not. But I know at the end of it, I will get rewards.
Yeah, I was amazed. I went in this morning again just solo queuing before I, since no one else was really on, went in just solo queued in trial. Said let me just go in and just see how it works. Figuring the flawless queue should be in place by now. It's a new map. It's a new week. I did want to see if the focusing pool was different. So the focusing pool is still the same. So I haven't really answered my question whether you can get the weapons that aren't there, but I was able to go in, and I think we were at, I had lost a match or two, but I had 4 wins on a card just going in solo queuing. And every single game, again, I think of the 7 or 8 I played, except for maybe one where we just got run over by a team who was, just a 3 stack that were good. But a lot of them were solo people or 2 stacks, but it felt competitive. It felt like I was playing people I should have been playing. It wasn't, the normal you go in and you blink and your entire team's dead already and the game's over in a minute and a half. So it really does feel like it's working. It really feels like it's, and I credit, that the flawless pool, a lot of that, which I'm sure the people who have gone flawless, like I know AZ plays, he went flawless again this week, and we're like, oh, how's it going? He's like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done with trials. There's no reason to go back in there again once you go flawless. And which I can understand, but it's like, I think for a lot of people, you go flawless, you get the reward. And yeah, maybe, it makes trials a little less fun that weekend, but at least you've gotten the pinnacle reward out of it, which is more than you've ever been able to do before. So I mean, it's one of those, I can see both sides of it, but I'm also a little bit happy that the trials players who go flawless now have to play the other people who are good enough to go flawless and go, see, this is why the rest of us hated this for the last 7 years. This is our experience going in and just having sweaty, competitive, stompy matches every single time. So I'm happy, just a little happy they're getting a taste of that, and that I can go in and finally enjoy myself for the first time. Again, people who don't touch PvP are like, hey, we should go play trials. Because there's a loot pool, there's a track to rewards. You can go in and actually have some success with it, which is, like I said earlier, to be talking about trials in anything other than just a dismissive hand wavy, that's not for me, I'll never touch that, who cares, feels nice. So there's another part of the game that's now accessible to me as a player where it just never was before, unless it was literally, let's go in and get stomped for an hour and a half to get our 3-win reward just for completing matches. That's it. And just for earning a little bit of XP. And then having a pile of tokens I can't do anything with. Yeah. It's been great.
And to answer your question about the loot pool and the focusing part, if you've unlocked all the weapons, you can then go to the second page on St. 14's, and you can pick any of the weapons if you've got all of them to then focus. So they do show up once you've kind of got them from the free engrams or from just ranking up with Saint 14. So once you've got like all the armor, once I unlocked all the armor, I was then able to go in and delete it and then unlock it via transmog and then equip it onto my Titan. And slowly over the next couple of weeks, I'll probably do the same with the Hunter and the Warlock. But yeah, I mean, you've jumped the gun slightly there with what's actually happened. So Andy, would you tell us what they've changed from last week to this week in Trials?
Is that in the upcoming changes?
Yes,
Or is
so
that-
that it says
okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
they've
so
already done it.
Yeah. So tomorrow there will be a few changes going live for the second week of Trials of Osiris. We aren't satisfied with the matchmaking experience for players after 7 wins. That area of matchmaking has a significantly higher rate of 5-0 games than we would like. So we are enabling a flawless matchmaking pool. However, we want to make sure that there are enough flawless players to maintain good matchmaking times. So we are waiting until Friday afternoon to turn this on. And we will be watching player reactions and matchmaking analytics all weekend to make sure it is behaving properly. We are also not happy with the experience of players who have a bad streak of getting repeatedly thrashed 5-0. So we are enabling some matchmaking help if someone runs into several blowout matches. This temporary help mechanic clears up once they start winning again. So don't think someone will cheese a flawless by tanking for a few games and then have a weekend of smooth sailing. Lastly, we're enabling the quitter penalties that we use on the Glory playlist, giving you a 30-minute timeout if you quit out of too many games. We are going to be watching this and have some harsher plans if players continue to abandon their fire teams. I really
That was
hope.
something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I really hope that connection issues don't count towards that, because getting kicked out by your connection, I get it affects the other team, but it's not always your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something they should be able to track, whether you get disconnected and there's an error message versus whether you just held down Y or whatever long enough to leave the queue or to go back to orbit. So yeah, they should.
And I think that's why that it's like it tracks like if you've quit too many games. So let's face it, if your internet is playing up so much, don't go and play Trials or don't
Yeah.
play the Glory playlist, because you're going to just get kicked out again. If it's a one-off, then you're not going to be penalised or penalised or whatever the word is.
No one will come yell
Next.
at you. Yeah, I'm really curious
Yeah.
about the extra help, because I mean, there's sort of I'm sure it's purposely vague. It's like you'll get some extra help. Is that when Shaq shows up to be like, "Come, Guardian, we must go"? Does Saint 14 come and be like, "Get on my back, Guardian, we're going to go win now"?
Well, the extra help is
I need
that it
to
will
know.
match you against other players that are feeling very similar to you, that you are going to be, they've also been 5-0 for like the last couple of games. You've been 5-0 for the last couple of games. We're going to put all of you together and see which one of you can beat the other person easier.
And then you'll be
And then you'll get
6-0.
Yeah.
And then you'll be there again. Yeah, it was, and like we did say earlier, they did sort of oopsie, and they turned on the matchmaking pool at launch, and then turned off the matchmaking pool like an hour and a half or so later, and then they've since turned it back on again. So on again,
Yeah.
off again. So if you played Trials, it wasn't so great. You were in that Friday afternoon lull before when they, after they turned it off because they turned it on accidentally and turned it on for real. Go back in, because this morning it was a very different experience. Like it actually felt like I was just loading into like the competitive playlist, like a normal PvP activity, just as a solo person with and had a good experience with it, which is again not something I could have ever said about Trials before.
We had a fun experience, didn't we, last week on Monday before reset. I joined Peroty via xCloud on my mobile whilst I was at work, and
Sure did.
we had fun. I mean, it worked really well. I actually got kills in Trials, a competitive game mode, whilst playing on my phone.
Yeah.
So
Playing
you can play
streaming
anywhere.
xCloud to an iPhone. So if he can do that on xCloud, you can do it on Stadia. It's possible.
And trust me, I wasn't that good, but I was doing. Yeah, it was good fun. Just to go in
It
and see.
was.
What the xCloud could possibly do in a PvP environment because of the latency with like inputs and things. So yeah, it was just good fun to just I could pick up my phone and just join people and play without having to worry about the frame rates and things. So I'm guessing kind of Stadia is very similar. You could kind of load up your Stadia and jump on and hook up with your friends. You 2 or 3 people that are on Stadia.
Yeah. That's one thing we learned though is you couldn't play the game and use the Xbox party chat. So we ended up jumping on the Discord so the two of us could talk. I was on Discord on
Yes.
my phone and then playing on the Xbox because it was either you could play the game streaming or you could chat, but it couldn't quite handle both of those.
No, I mean I tried joining an Xbox Live. I created an Xbox Live chat. I had my Bluetooth headset, so I was talking and listening through that, and we just couldn't communicate. So we ended up going on Discord, and thankfully through the iPhone you can kind of have Discord open and still play the game. And I was getting game volume as well, so I got the best of both worlds. Of I could still hear what was happening in the game. I could still hear Peroty, and I could communicate well. So
Yeah, and it seemed like it worked pretty well. I think the couple times you had gotten disconnected again, it was sort of like between matches as we were loading in, like locked the phone or switched away. And I'm sure it's just like the iPhone, like it puts it to sleep, or it can't quite keep that connection going if you're not like actively looking at that app. But yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
worked like while you were in playing the matches, it worked surprisingly well.
yeah.
I mean, we just not say we're gonna go flawless and stomp people, but I was a warlock. I gave you an arc buddy. It worked out great between you and the arc
I
buddies.
think
You were
we
doing
did
a good
actually
job.
win, didn't we? We won one set of games, and I think I think it was we played like 3 or 4, was it? And we won one match, and then
won a
we
couple of
lost
them.
the others.
Yeah,
Yeah, some
because I think a
subsequent
couple.
rounds we won.
Yeah, because I think a couple were it was the two of us, and then we had ODST Mayhem join us, and poor Odie, he wasn't on the Discord, so it's like, well, I can talk to Nitedemon, and I can't talk to you because I couldn't quite figure out how to get in 2 parties at once. So I was like, he's like, I'll just follow you, it'll be fine. So he is the suave mute after all. So he was just living up to his former moniker as the suave mute with a good sniper rifle.
And I played Trials this morning. I thought I'd jump on because I can't talk about Trials this week with the changes and without actually trying to test it. So I played 3 games this morning. The first game got completely stomped, but it was an even match. For the other 2 players, actually, picked up my slack. I was very tired after work, but yeah, it was evenly matched. I think it went 3-5. But we were all single players, and then the next game, I think it went 5-4 to us. Again, all single players. The next game, we came up against a 3 stack, and it went to 4-4, and it really came down to the last wire of it. But what I'm thinking, just playing the subset of 3 games that I did, is that it's matching me against similar skilled players for now at the bottom part of the card to see how we do. And that's kind of what it was doing last week. I was matching up against similar skilled players, getting to about 4 or 5 wins, and then coming up against, the tougher opponents or the people that were on the way to the lighthouse. What I'd like to see this week is a bit more testing to see if I can get to the lighthouse or get close to the lighthouse, because I think even Respawn was saying in the chat, should I get to 6 wins and then just reset, like a lot of the YouTubers, including Mercules, has said from what's his podcast?
The
The
Massive
Massive
Breakdowns
Breakdowns
podcast. Yeah, he was one that was not a fan of these changes. I saw he and DMG on Twitter going back and forth, but poor DMG, who should be off enjoying his wedding right now, is going back and forth about trials changes that hadn't even happened yet at that point, hadn't even come to pass.
Yeah, and what I don't get, and I see some of his logic of the fact that his podcast came out, I think it was on Thursday, as the 12 came out. So it sounded like it was an immediate knee-jerk reaction to stuff that was going to happen. So all this stuff that we're talking about, we've now actually experienced. It's in the game. But it sounded like it was a knee-jerk reaction of the fact that he didn't like the fact that once you go flawless on your whole account, you are now in that flawless pool. So even if you do, like if you go on your Titan and then you want to take your Hunter back through or your Warlock back through, you're automatically in that flawless loop or flawless pool of players. So you can't go flawless 3 times and then you're in it for each character. It's just across your whole account. And he doesn't like that. Now he says that he's not a trials player. He's not an elitist. And I'm not deliberately calling him out, and I'm not having a complete argument with him. But for somebody that starts off the sentence of saying, last week he went flawless on the Friday and then he bookended the week with a flawless on the Monday, says to me that he's better than a lot of other people that play PvP and he has the ability to go to the lighthouse. Now, whether that's because of the changes or not, I don't know, possibly. But I'm saying from my experience as a lesser skilled player, I enjoyed last week's changes and I'm looking forward to the possibility of the changes this week of maybe not having to get to my 6th game, which I did last week, and come up against the Trials gods that completely wiped the floor with me. I have a chance that maybe, possibly going against those players that are of similar skill, that it goes 4-4, and then that, it comes right down to the wire, and it's like, this is what it should be. It should be my skill versus other people of similar skills, and if we can get to the lighthouse, then that's amazing. I've got to the lighthouse this week, but I will constantly play the game when I can to see if I can get to the lighthouse. I'm not going to be one of these people, that gets to 6 wins and then reset my card just because I don't want to go into the flawless loophole. I want to be able to go flawless at least once a week. I want to try for that. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not, but
Yeah, I do. Like my experience, like playing it today, the first match we played felt like I was up against people of my own skill, which it felt great. But as soon as match 2 hit, you could tell. I actually one of our teammates looked the team up, and they had over 70 wins this week, but
God.
no flawless. So it's obviously they are an elite team, but in the same pool as me, and that's not working the way it should be. So the whole resetting thing, it's a kick in the teeth for us, pretty much,
I
because
think
it doesn't solve the problem.
I think half the issue is if Bungie had implemented this change and kept quiet about it, slowly over the weekend people would have figured it out and called Bungie out over it. So Bungie have been quite open and honest with it. This is what we're going to try and implement. So people have tried to then circumnavigate or go against the grain and go, well, if that's the way it's going to be, I'm just going to reset my card at 6 wins and just keep going back into the same pool of players, which isn't fair. It isn't what I mean, I know it's not fair, but it isn't what Bungie are trying to test. And you could see what they were going for from the first week's figures. I mean, if you look at it, with the influx of people that are coming into the game, they're thinking that if we've still got this amount of players in week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, like what was it, 750K.
Yeah, 250,000 people, or 750,000 people.
If we maintain 500,000 people in the Trials of Osiris playlist, and half of those manage to get to the lighthouse, then half of those will be playing more people than they did originally when Trials was at its lowest. I mean, like you said, I think you broke down the numbers. There was like about 150,000 people that played Trials and possibly went to the lighthouse, the elitist ones. There's potentially going to be more people going into that playlist. So if people played the game mode as it was intended and actually got put into that flawless player pool over the weekend, then in theory, more people would get into that flawless playlist. Yes, they could be like AZ and like a couple of other people and say, this isn't for me. But gradually over time, if people played it the right way, there would be more people going into the flawless pool, which would then incentivize even more players to think, hang on a minute, this trials mode isn't as bad as I thought. We do have there is a possibility, which would, potentially ramp up the numbers. So I could see where Bungie are coming from, is that, well, if we do get the same amount of numbers the second week, let's try it the second week, kind of thing. So I could see where they were going and where they were, coming from. And I think it was something that we even talked about on this show, like way back when, where we were talking about different rings for different skilled players and it putting you in. I think we did say maybe it should let you go on each character, but I think where they've now implemented the cards across all characters, that's where they've kind of it's now kind of, I don't know whether they've made a mistake, but they've kind of made this change anyway, that it's across your whole account. So that's what
Yeah.
they've done. But maybe
I-
it should be like you go flawless 3 times, or you have the ability to go flawless on each character on your account, and then you're put into the loot pool. Then you're put into this player pool. I mean, this is an ongoing change. This is something that the PvP community has been asking for a hell of a long time. And it's something Bungie are implementing on a weekly basis. They're going, right, okay, we've seen this. We're going to now tweak it slightly to this. So if people actually played the way that Bungie have asked us to play, they could actually get the right numbers. At the moment, I don't think they're going to get the right numbers with people kicking off and going, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play it the way that they want. I want to do it like this because I don't see why I should be in a flawless loot pool. If you know what I mean. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Bungie's doing what they've always done. I mean, one, they have to figure out what's right. You know, Bungie tends to say we're going to go all in this way, and then we're going to pull back. We're going to go all. You know, they're just throwing things against the wall to a degree. It's like, let's see what happens if we have a flawless pool. Period. Full stop. We've never had one. Let's see how this pans out. If it's, you know, if we have a 500,000 people in the flawless loot pool, you know, in the flawless pool, that at least makes the player base big enough. You might have some good matches. If it's only, you know, the 120,000 people that are playing and getting to the lighthouse, and if half of those or a quarter of those are people who will still play after that flawless, yeah, then the pool is way too small and that doesn't work out. But you have to figure, you know, you have to know that you have to play with it, and that's a part of why they're bringing the trials labs is they want to try things and go, does this work? What happens if we do this? And I know everybody wants to scream the moment they get a thing that it doesn't work out for them. And I know us on the side of, oh, the poor streamers, the poor good PvP gods are sad. It's, you know, we want to poke fun of them. They want to poke fun of us. Everyone gets upset about things. Bungie has to try things out. You know, again, we have a 6-month season. This is what, week 4, 5. Give them some time to sort it out. Give the feedback, make yourself heard, but it's not the end of the world. It's a game, for one, and two, they're going to keep tweaking things. That's what Bungie has always done and continues to say they're going to do. That's why they say after all of these changes, hey, we're going to look at the numbers. Hey, we're going to watch this. We're going to see how this plays out. If they see a gigantic precipitous drop, if we had 750,000 people play last week and 100,000 play this week, they're going to go, ooh, something didn't work. You know, yes, some people will play trials week 1 and decide it's not for them and never come back. That's going to happen. But they're going to say, okay, well, what happened to everybody else? You know, because they've always said they want to make things inclusive, they want to make things aspirational, and you have some success with it. It's aspirational now. It was never aspirational before, because your aspiration was, I hope, you know, a Trials God streamer takes me to the lighthouse. That was the aspiration. That was the only way to get anything out of Trials. And now it's, I can jump in with a buddy or 2 buddies, and we can go have some fun and get some loot out of it, and maybe actually go to the lighthouse, maybe have some success. So, you know, they're going to continue to tweak it. And yeah, some weeks will be better than others. You know, some weeks we won't even have trials because Iron Banner is up, which is not something they've done before. It's either been on or off. It isn't on or off unless we want to, you know, do something else. So PvP guys, you wanted Bungie to focus on PvP. That's what this looks like. They are focusing on PvP. You have all the focus on PvP, so enjoy it.
So I'm looking at Trials report, and so does it say? Is it down in the bottom corner? The weekly stats. Is that where I'm reading this correctly? For
yeah. Now I know they said they had turned off. Yeah, so they did say they had to disable some flawless stats due to the load. So either that means lots of people are hitting trials report, which I'm guessing is the case, or yeah, lots of people are playing, which either way.
But it looks like there's still a lot of players playing. There's 428,000 players playing. There's over 1 million matches played. Is that right? I'm reading this wrong.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean, last week Burnout. You know, granted, this is Saturday. You know, about noon U.S. Eastern, Saturday about 5 p.m. UTC, and sometime on Sunday in Australia. But yeah, so we're not even halfway or barely halfway through the weekend, and yeah, so we're already at, what do you say, 428,000 people. We had 748,000 last weekend, so we're already more than half of who played last weekend are playing again, and still those numbers are way up from where they were before.
Yeah, and there's 107,000 flawless characters. So or 103 flawless players. So
Interesting.
It's still working as far as I can see.
Yeah, because last weekend we had 295,000 flawless characters and 238,000 flawless players. So 238,000 flawless players. We're at 103,000 flawless players so far this weekend. So yeah, we're about, again, a little over halfway. Before halfway in the weekend, we're about halfway to our flawless numbers. And those, all of those numbers, like, I guess this is week 72 of trials overall for Burnout last week. And the players were up 770,000%, or the flawless players were up 770% overall over the last. I don't know if it's overall numbers or week to week numbers, but the numbers were just astronomically high last week, like Bungie's chart shows, because everyone tried to play it and everyone had a good time, or at least everyone set foot into it and came back, which looks to be
from
like
the
we're seeing
Trials of
again this
Osiris
week.
player count that they put out. It looks like it's for the last couple of months. I mean, there's been a few spikes. We had one mid-April, one mid-February, where they spiked up to near enough 400,000. But ever since then, it's kind of just it tails off and it tails off. But this looks like it's not up to the numbers it was last week, but 400, is a decent number. I think that's doubled the amount of people that were in there previously. And if you take a chance and if you take a gamble at playing, it looks like, it's still going to. At the end of the day, the changes that they made last week for this season are going to pay off, regardless of whether you do hit those, trials gods or not. You have a chance at going to the lighthouse, even more so now with the changes of the trials of the flawless pool. You have more chances to actually win matches, more chances of winning rounds, to get the loot, to get the experience, to get the bonuses, to get the track from Saint 14. So all that is still there. You still have all these opportunities to get stuff.
All right. We're up to the next part, or the next part in that trial section.
I don't know. Is there anything you want to add to that? Or
not really. I think I've said all that I. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I'm
Besides,
going to get back
don't play on
into it.
PC.
I will. I don't know if I will aim to go flawless this week. I've completed my card. I've got 7 wins. I might just play that through just to get the weapons and armor to drop, get the engrams from the ranks, and I think that's probably what I will do this week if I get chance. But maybe
I think I was gonna say I think that's what Bungie want. They just
Yeah.
want you to play the game mode. It's not, we're gonna give you a flawless ticket. Here you go. There you go. That's it. It's we just want you to come in and play this game mode, whether it be weekly or bi-weekly, or just more often than you used to. As long as you play the game mode, that's what we want. We just want to pique your interest, to get you back into playing it. And I think that they've successfully done that.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. And and it's interesting. Vex this week, I just had to look just out of curiosity again, because Vex was super strong last week. Vex is, it's up at the top again at 1.5 million kills, but the Messenger 1.2 million right behind it, and Ace of Spades, Darkest of 4, and Fellwinders are the next 3, and they're about 750,000 million kills behind. So Vex is still strong, but it's not like twice as strong as everything like it was last week. Vex last week ended up with almost 6.8 million kills. Messenger was second at 3.7 million, and then Ace of Spades 3.5 million, then Fellwinders 2.8. So Vex was just super dominant last week, and it was Burnout, so I think it was probably a good map for it. But so I mean, Vex is still strong, but it's not running away with kills like it was last week, which is kind of nice to say, because when things stick way out like that, Bungie brings that big nerf hammer down and goes,
it is an outlier. Let's face
that's an
it,
outlier.
it's a
We should
complete
fix
outlier.
that. So.
It is going to be brought down, because if you take the amount of people that have actually earned that from doing the raid to the amount of now people that are playing in trials and the percentages of that, it works out to be that gun is a complete outlier. If more people had it, that would be triple the numbers that it it currently is. If more people had access to that weapon, this gun would be completely, well, it is a little bit OP, but so yeah, that's definitely going to get hammering down.
Yeah, the nerf is coming, but at least it's not quite as egregious as it was week 1. But I agree with you.
You know what
Right about the
weapon I was
time Respawn
surprised to
gets it.
see? Yeah,
Go on.
the weapon I was surprised to see in trials, which hit our team hard. Devil's Ruin, the cider.
Yes.
That just demolished us. Every time we encountered it, it just melted us. That I don't think the weapon was OP. I think just that particular player knew how to use it efficiently.
Mhm.
Was he on a Titan?
It was a warlock, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Didn't know because the moment you got close, he just melted you. Couldn't see
Pretty
what he
much.
was.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I'm interested to see when this weekend kind of wraps up the numbers. If Bungie do share the numbers with us, and the people actually do take a chance that are bitching and moaning about, they don't want it to be this. Just take a chance and see what it's like. Actually, give it a go. Give Bungie a chance at trying to do something for more people than just yourself. Just stop being a little bit selfish and think, we'll try it out. Give Bungie their numbers. If it doesn't work out, I'm sure Bungie will tweak it in a different way.
I mean, this just brings more players to the game. Like the game, in my experience, this game is a lot of casual players love this game, but then they get pushed away by all the elitist activity within it. So it's
Yeah.
this will hopefully keep the casuals engaged in the game. Like myself, like I have been playing Destiny since the beginning. I still see myself as a casual player only because of the amount of time I get to play. So I want to be able to get on, play something enjoyable, get off, and not feel like I don't want to go back and play that again.
Yeah, and it's like Peroty said, it's piquing the interest of the non-Trials players to come in and have a look at what Trials is each week. I was excited to see Trials come back this week, nearly as much as Iron Banner. Nearly.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Blasphemy. Yeah, I mean, and face it, at the end of the day, Trials needs the rest of us, because otherwise then you PvP gods just play yourself and think back to how that went, and it didn't go well for anybody. So enjoy us being here. Welcome us.
Yeah, just
So what's
take
happened?
your...
What?
Oh, yeah, no,
Sorry.
go. It's all good.
No, go. You go.
I was just going to say, just take your flawless win and leave us alone. Let us get our flawless wins.
I mean, maybe give them extra incentive to stay in that flawless pool. Just throw things at them. They enjoy just flawless things. Just give them a new emblem. Give them a scarab emblem. They like that.
I mean,
If they...
there is one. Like if they are flawless and they keep playing, I think they have like a 50% chance for an adept weapon to drop if they remain flawless. It just drops at the just within the match.
Yeah, keep playing, get more rewards. Like, I don't know, the rest of the game works.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll probably come back around to this next week and see what Respawn says and in real time. But what are they actually changing next week to give us more incentive, Andy, to go back in and try it again?
So, in addition to our first Trials labs, spoiler alert, it's Capture Zone Trials. We'll be disabling the special ammo replenishment on Revive. You still get special ammo if you kill someone or when you start the next round. Wow, that's huge. That's huge. We are also disabling the matchmaking counter on the Trials of Osiris lobby, so you won't be able to tell how many players have joined, but will still be told when they join. We also fixed an issue preventing you from being able to masterwork weapons from Saint 14's rank rewards. Big thanks to everyone who showed up to play last week, from the hardcore flawless or bus players to anyone who tried out the mode for the first time. All of your feedback and data from playing has been extremely helpful in allowing us to continue improving Trials. Good luck tomorrow.
There you go. And if anybody's got any views that they want us to kind of go over on the show regarding Trials or anything else, just email the show at twotitansanahunter@hotmail.com, and we'll have a discussion and put your views out there. Either Respawn will read it or I will read it, depending on, or even Peroty, depending on the voice that comes across in the email.
I think we're through with that. I don't know if we have I know we don't have a respawn. Do we have a roundup? I don't know if we have a roundup.
No, to be honest, there's not much of a roundup this week. It's
Yeah. I was
again, there's a lot of trials toxicity about the changes,
Mhm.
but I did have a look back if there was anything over the last couple of days that they haven't mentioned in the TWAB. I did find an interesting build that was for a Titan, unfortunately, and
Or fortunately, depending.
this was by Post Count Pirate on, I think it was on Reddit, but Destiny Tracker picked up on this. Optimus Prime for the Titan. It looked like Optimus Prime. It's fantastic. So, if you want to look like Optimus Prime in Destiny 2, for your helmet, you want the Neiman's helm with the Deep Sea Jaunt, that's via shader. Shoulders, you want the Gauntlets of Exhalation and the Rose Scales. Chest is the Kabir's Wrath from the Vault of Glass and the Rose Scaler. Legs, you want the Doom Marchers with the Hip Wader ornament and the Deep Sea Jaunt. And the mark is the Mark of Remembrance and again Deep Sea Jaunt. Try that out and see what you look like. It looks fantastic. Yeah. Do you guys want to see a picture of it?
I do. I tried to Google it and I don't think I could find. I found some other stuff. Oh, that looks really cool.
That is Optimus Prime.
That is Optimus Prime.
Checks out.
It does. What else do we do in this show? I can't remember. There's.
And Respawn says it's actually dope AF. So you get the Respawn approval on Optimus Prime, even if it is a Titan, or despite it being a Titan. A roundup in our videos, and I mean, there's Destiny artwork, there's Destiny videos, there's a movie of the week of a warlock just absolutely making short work of a legendary lost sector. Who he's just like, let me know when those men show up, and he blew through it.
I feel like I saw that. That was like it finished in like what, 3 minutes or something? It was.
No, I think it's like a minute. I think it's sort of. I think it's like 57 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose I could scroll down, like look at it again. Yeah. Perdition Legend, 57-second Warlock Platinum speedrun. It's basically I'm a very fast Warlock boy with a sword, and nobody knows what hit them. And you can also kill all 12 Gorgons in 1 minute if you want to speedrun that. So apparently this is Movie of the Week speedrun edition. And there's some lovely artwork with our Titan PvP guys just hanging out. They don't seem to be eating salsa with their quesadillas, but they do have some kimchi, so they're just hanging out. And there's some birds and Osiris and Saint just hanging out, having a good time. Bungie wants to just thank us for a lifetime of Destiny, because there are 187 million total Guardians, and we've all collectively played 9.8 billion hours. And in the last year, Atheon has been defeated 2 million times in the last year. And Tanix has been killed in the Deepstone Crypt 3.5 million times. So Cosmo just wants to say...
our favorite is.
Cosmo says, how fast do you think we can lift that number up to an even 10 billion? And just remember to take breaks and drink plenty of water. Yeah. So go play trials? That sounds weird to say. Sounds dirty.
It does. I mean, go get the new exotic trace rifle, because I equipped that. I went onto my stasis build. I went out because I've neglected my stasis so much. I didn't have the fragments or aspects. I went out. I unlocked the a couple fragments and aspects. Now I've got an ice turret, which I didn't know existed. So now I've got that, and that is on the Warlock. Throwing that out and just freezing everything, and then with one of the I think it's an aspect for the Warlock. If you defeat a frozen target, it then spreads to the next target and freezes them. And you can basically, with the exotic trace rifle, it's mental. Like everything freezes. Everything's frozen. all the time around you. The only issue, you run out of ammo so quickly.
Mhm.
Trace rifle ammo is nowhere to be seen anymore. I don't know if that's because of the recent scavenger nerfs or in general. I just feel like it doesn't drop as much anymore. But that's otherwise that stasis warlock build is my new full-time PvE build at the
Nice.
moment.
So
Nice.
did you because I know they made some changes and I haven't played enough on unlocking stasis for my warlock to notice. Did you play enough to notice if it feels easier? Because I know they said they were going to make a bunch of changes to make it just less of a grind to unlock all the stasis stuff. That's part of why I would love to throw ice tornadoes as a hunter, but of course I haven't touched my hunter stasis thing, and there was no way I was going through all of that nonsense to unlock it and all that. So
I
I
mean,
didn't
I'm
know
pretty
if you've noticed
sure.
that if it felt easier from getting through all of it.
Yes, I unlocked, I think, maybe 4 fragments and 1 aspect within 30 minutes of play.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if I already half completed some of the things, but it seemed a lot easier to do. Like there weren't as many steps. I just had to go to one place, complete a thing, then go to another place and complete something, and it was pretty much done. It's definitely a better experience.
I think the fragments are the hardest ones, aren't they? Because they're that you unlock across all characters. So as long as you've unlocked those, on your characters, the aspects are the ones that are just kind of go here, do this, go here, do that kind of thing. Whereas you had to pick. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that with the aspects, they're what you want to get first because they will unlock extra spaces to equip more fragments. I think I've got that the right way around.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Respawn does approve of the new exotic trace rifle.
Awesome. Yeah, I apparently had unlocked that ice turret on my warlock, Andy, but I hadn't actually, I guess, gone to go and do the last piece of it. So I have it now, but I haven't played with it yet. I just unlocked it the other day, so I'm excited to try that because that turret is just. I've run up against it in PvP, and it's great for. I mean, I've seen it in PvP and Gambit both because it's lovely when it's friendly because you can just absolutely control an area. Like I'm a little afraid to see that in Trials control because you can absolutely just take over parts of the map with that and go, I'm going to put you here. You're going to freeze anybody who's nearby, and then they can be murdered.
It'd be cool if you go with like a team and one warlock goes bottom tree arc with an arc buddy, and then one warlock goes with that, and then you can just and on top of that you bring in the no time to explain, and that's still what it's called. Or is it the strange? I don't remember.
Yeah.
With
the little arc buddies. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now you've got 2 buddies shooting on your shoulders and 1 shooting from the ground.
To be honest, I did try that last week. I was throwing out the ice turrets. I believe it's I spec'd in just like 100% for my grenades, and I was just throwing those out and just at targets that were outside on Burning Shrine. So it was annoying the hell out of them to freeze them because it does take a lot of shots to take it down, and unless they're all shooting it. And they don't want to all be shooting it because you've got 3 other guardians running at you. It becomes annoying, and you either have to run away from it or you have to shoot it. But I tell you what, Sweet Business takes it down very quickly because I came up against somebody that was doing exactly the same as me, and a couple of seconds on Sweet Business and it's gone, my friend. Don't use that tactic against me.
Oh yeah, no Titan barricades too. I'm gonna put my barricade up and go for this res or hang out here.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
The day last week, Pan and I double ran Sweet Business. It was bad. It was bad on burnout. Be like, no, this is our hallway. We live.
Yeah. Just make sure you're spinning that thing up before you walk around that corner because you don't want to get headshot. But even then, those poor old snipers, if they took too long to be sniping, they were getting flinched like nobody's business with that gun. It was just mental on the Titans. But yeah, the Warlock turret build was quite good. Like if you had another Warlock with you that was running the wells, just double up on it.
Yeah, I had a pretty good laugh. That's what I was playing around with it because I'd already sort of done I had actually gotten the pinnacle drop on my Titan because I had gotten the 50 round or whatever it is for that. So I was like, let me bring the warlock in. I had heard there was a good, the stag is good now, running the bottom tree. So I was like, let me run a stag and that and get some resistance. And I knew Nitedemon was on his phone anyway, so I said, oh, let's get some arc buddies and the stag going. And it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to use the arc buddies. So definitely
I've
worth
got an
it.
idea. All three of us grab all our warlocks into trials. 1 arc, 2 stasis. Let's just and everyone no time to explain. Let's just do it.
Yep. Okay. Then give me a couple of minutes. Let's finish
Yeah.
this podcast. And
Yeah.
we'll
We
do
live
it.
here now.
Plus 3 continents. We can't
Yeah.
lose.
Well, we can.
We can. We will.
Have you met us before?
Can one of you send someone over to take care of my wife, to take her out to lunch or something?
Yeah.
No. No.
What if
just
all our wives go?
phone a friend? Phone a friend, my friend. Phone another friend. But I don't have this week. I don't have a clan for you. I didn't go on Reddit and hunt down anybody. So if you do have a clan that you want to kind of highlight and get some more people that are interested, 1 or 2 of the people that actually listen to this podcast that don't have a clan, then let us know. Because I'm not going to peddle your one off because you're not here. So there.
No.
But I do have some videos for you guys to check out this week. If you are collecting your Ascendant Anchors, you are doing your mysteries and things, Esoteric has a couple of videos for you for that to go over all those. I think there's 15 mysteries and 18 Ascendant Anchors that you can collect. And then there's 23 on the EDZ. Also, Esoteric this week, there were several different videos that he put out on YouTube going over solo parts of like Vault of Glass. And the one that intrigued me the most was the solo Templar encounter, which it looks doable to anybody. I thought about it and then I thought, no. But it's interesting. And this is part, I mean, he uses the infinite cleansing glitch. And I think this is part of one of the groups that I joined a couple of weeks back when I was doing hunting for my Vex. One of the strats was before the encounter started, they all jumped off the back of the Templar platform. And the one guy went down, picked up the relic. He then went and he charged it up. Didn't care about the oracles chiming off because there was nobody that needed to be cleansed apart from himself. So once that all kind of went off, he jumped down, cleansed himself, jumped back up, and as he cleansed himself, we all rezzed ourselves because you could do that for some strange reason. We all rezzed ourselves, joined him at the top of the stairs, and warlocks put down their rift, bubbles were put up, and the Templar was melted within seconds. And you could also do this strategy with Atheon as well. We got to Atheon, and everybody did the same thing. They rallied the flag. They all jumped off the map. This one guy soloed the encounter in the portals because after he was transported into either Mars or Venus, we all rezzed ourselves. So there was 5 of us outside that could do the call-outs for the oracles. He was inside dropping the shield so that he could then take out the oracles that were in the thing. He then came out and there were already 5 of us in a warlock well outside waiting for him to come out, DPS in the boss. And Respawn's going to probably say, yeah, this is a strategy that's been around for ages, but he hasn't told us about it. So I'm telling you about it, that there are these strategies if you can find the players that can do this. So for those players that don't like being sucked into like Venus or Mars when you go onto Atheon, you could try this strategy out. 3 of you could throw yourselves off at the beginning before you shoot the little Vex cube to start the encounter. So you could send your 3 most competent players into whichever portal, and then your other ones that don't want to be transported stay out.
Sure.
You could send you could send those 3 in and keep the other people out, so that it gives you a choice to start off with. If you can't get the boss down DPS'd enough, if you can't do him in one phase, you then do play the roulette game of, am I going to be transported into one of these portals after that? But at least it gives you a chance at maybe not being transported twice. You get a choice. So you could try that.
And Respawn says it is, but it depends too much on one person being competent.
Yeah, no, but that's if you were doing the 5-man strat that the group that I was with suddenly decided they wanted to do. But you could play the game of just sending the 3 people that didn't kill themselves into the portal, and then the other 3 just res themselves outside. So that was interesting. If you are interested in knowing a bit about the Aegis Scepter, Fallout Plays has a short video, 4 minutes and 15 seconds, of everything that you need to know, including the exotic catalyst. He also goes over the Adagio perk. Now, he does say that now he's back from holiday, he was going to go over all the perks that he missed out from that other perk video that you put out. But Adagio was the one that kind of piqued his interest the most. And why does this perk exist? Why does it exist?
I'm not sure. I believe that he missed out perks on a 3.5 hour long video.
He did because he was on holiday, wasn't he? He went to Alaska, as far as I know. Yes, Respawn, we're not telling people about that.
Yeah, don't use it. That's the TLDR.
Don't be Respawn this week.
Somebody has to. I'm just doing
Now, there are
at a lower volume. That's all.
okay. There are a couple of cool trials tips videos this week. So if you are interested in going and looking at trials, I have 22 tips to improve in Trials of Osiris from Patty Cakes Gaming. Very chilled player, very, step by step, really instructive guide. And again, it's one of those things of, yes, some of the things are kind of just natural things that you do think of, but sometimes you kind of neglect. And the same with Fallout. Fallout's got 15 tips to immediately improve in Trials, even if you're solo. So you've got a couple of cool Trials of Osiris guides there. Paul Tassi, I think I missed this last week. There was one video that he put out about the best high stats armor focus, and it's easy to miss. Now, this is to do with the new ghost mods that you can equip on your ghost to say, right, I want to have armor drops that go 10 plus into resilience or recovery and things like that. But he points out that you can kind of double dip with, I think it was Season of the Splicer, so that if you focus an engram from Season of the Splicer, and he does go into it in his video why you want Seasons of the Splicer and not any of the other ones. But say you pick one that is high in recovery, but your ghost says you want high intelligence, you can double dip with getting plus 10 in both of those stats and possibly get quite high stats, plus 60 plus rolls on armor. He also did another video this week that also points out that you can also do this with the exotics. And there are a couple of exotic hacks that you can use with the ghost. And I'll let him explain in his video, but it was very interesting to see how you could kind of do this. One of them is the lost sectors. There is a way of doing it, but there are a couple of other versions to kind of get the stats that you want or prefer stats that you want on the exotics. Not necessarily getting the exotic that you want, but possibly a roll on an exotic. So it's not this is the exotic that you get and you can manipulate the stats. It's whatever the exotic drop is, kind of thing.
Respawn and I would both like to know, do any of the strats involve using your teammates as human shields?
No, but I'm sure you could. What, in Trials?
Yeah, in Trials.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
To
I
be
think that's
honest-
all of them, like Andy says. I think that's all the trial strats. Use your teammates like human shields.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Send the Titans through.
Are you guys interested to know what is better, Grid Skipper or The Darkest Before? If you are, Pattycates Gaming has a video for you for that.
Mm.
Shadow Destiny has the 40-60 rule in Destiny 2. So if you're interested in finding out what that is, go check that video out. Cheese Forever would like to point out that there is a super glitch with necrotic grips for the Warlocks. And using, I think it's the Bottom Tree Dawnblade. But again, go and check the video out, because I'm not going to tell you all the details, because he's made the video and he gets all the credit for it. We have Ironworks Gaming has the Burning Ruin build for the Titans. And this is pairing the Path of the Burning Steps with the Devil's Ruin. And this is a PvE setup build, but it won't stop you if you want to kind of take it into PvP to get some extra damage and use it effectively. As I mentioned earlier, the Ascendancy rocket launcher has been buffed, and Iror has a video for you for that, going over the numbers of how much it's been buffed by. And if you are interested, like Andy was talking about, with the new exotic trace rifle, the Aegis Scepter, we have a video by Iror going over a build using some of the new mods. And T Glizzy has one that goes over the best stasis fragments to use. And if you are like Respawn and are struggling to master the Hunter, Brave X Hero has a video for that.
You know he's not feeling well because after that bait, if he hasn't come on to scream at you, you know the poor man is not well.
Oh, bless him. He's definitely not well if he's not here. Let's face it. We've known this man to dial in from an aeroplane, and we've had really bad we've had him sniffling, we've had him coughing, we've had him literally dying on the podcast before. And oh, hang on. Is he going to grace us?
You I'm not struggling, Hunter, you son of a...
You know none of that's going to be put in, don't you?
There it is. But it's been said. That's the important part.
It is. And if you were interested to know what the Precious Scars changes were and how it's improved and why I possibly might want to go into a Lost Sector and get this item, Cool Guy has a second video for you for this. There was one that he put out at the beginning of the week, but this is a kind of follow-up one that now that in the trial they detailed the changes to it. It does look interesting. I will watch it,
but you're going to have to make a real strong case for it.
He makes a very good strong case on why possibly you might want this over the One-Eyed Mask.
Because that's one thing I've seen the One-Eyed Mask. I have not seen the Precious Scars on anybody.
Okay.
Possibly because no self-respecting human would leave home or orbit with that on.
He said, I mean, I'll give you a kind of a hint at it. Basically, if you have two Titans running this and two of you are trying to burn down a target, say in trials, and one of you gets the kill, you get a 45% buff on your health immediately. It's not like a gradual thing like One-Eyed Mask, it slowly goes up. It just goes bump. There you go. You have got that 45% health bump. Plus the person near you, and I think it's up to something like 15 meters. So that person that was helping you burn down the other target, it doesn't necessarily have to be wearing the helmet. It could be, a warlock. It could be somebody else. They also get a bump, that 45% bump in health automatically as well, as long as they're in range of you. So whereas One-Eyed Mask is more for the solo player in sixes, this is a definite team kind of thing that if two of you are running this and one of you gets the bump, then the other person then burns the other person that's coming in to save the other person, and Respawn's getting very upset about this, that you can kind of double team people with it and just constantly get an instant health bump. It looks interesting. I'm not saying I'm going to run it, but it looks interesting. Definitely now.
That's going to get nerfed. So Respawn, I'm curious. Have you played Trials this weekend, and have you seen it on anyone? I'm just curious because I have not seen it either on a friend or a foe at all. And great, I'm on console, so the sweatiest people are on the PC. I feel like. Okay, no Trials this week. Oh right, yeah, because that would involve sitting upright. Sorry. Yeah, I'm curious. So yeah, if you've seen the Precious Scars and Trials, and let's be honest, you can't miss the stupid thing. Let us know. Email us. Twitter us. Let us know because I'm really curious if people are using this stupid thing. I need to know.
Do you want to know what the people need to know though?
What do the people need to know?
How we end this show.
We do end the show. But first, if people want to know, they've heard you talk about all these cool videos. Where might I find these videos? Where do I go to get those?
Normally YouTube, but I link all of them in our show notes. So
all the more reason to subscribe and read the show notes because that's where all the links to all the videos will be. So you don't have to go searching for them.
Don't necessarily need to subscribe. I don't.
Oh, you don't tell the people these lies. You need to subscribe. It helps Respawn feel better. Respawn will feel better the more people that subscribe. It gives him power. It strengthens him.
It makes me laugh when I hear these people say, subscribe to me because it helps the YouTube analytics, and then I actually listen to a proper podcast saying that analytics and people subscribing don't necessarily help you kind of get noticed. People downloading your show or people watching do, So, it pops up in more people's feeds. You don't necessarily need to subscribe to that person, because let's face it, you're making a commitment to us. We've been here for nearly 3 years. I'm not sure if you want to commit to another 3 years with us. You might want to.
This is a marriage you enter into us. Both when you come on the show, like Andy has, he's now committed for life, or listen to the show. This is a marriage. This is not a short-term commitment. Just like Destiny is a lifestyle, so too is a podcast. So you should listen to it and subscribe to it. And that
You
way
do
you'll be
you.
happier, both in
You
your
do
life
you.
and in your marriage, either
We're
to
not
us
forcing you
or
to
to your
subscribe.
spouse.
You don't need to subscribe. Just you do you always.
That's the
Oh,
British
okay.
man is telling you that because he's already he's already taken over so many countries, so he doesn't feel like he needs to take over your country. But what you should do is you should go watch. I mean, not today because he's on his deathbed, but when he's not on his deathbed, twitch.tv/no one responds in real life. You should help him go flawless, go to the lighthouse, send him encouraging messages. He's almost at 100 followers, and if you watch at the same time, he can then make all the money and quit his job and become a streamer full time. And whether that's good or bad, I'll let you decide.
Well,
But
no,
he
that
can
is
do it.
bad. That is bad, because then we definitely need to change the opening of the show, because we do put we put a video up on YouTube. He's now streaming the show each week.
Well, right. So
We're gonna have to change it.
We
We're gonna
also
have to
weren't
change it.
trials players. So things change 3 years in. That's what happens. We started
Yeah.
from the bottom and now we're here, which is slightly above the bottom, but still pretty close to the bottom.
Yes, somewhat of a content creator. Welcome to
Oh.
Two Titans and a Hunter. We are somewhat content creators.
Yeah,
Now?
we play
3 years in.
I'm going with Respawn. We dabble only. We dabble in all the things. And thank you for
Dabblers.
thank you for dabbling with us this week. And thank you for joining us. Your Titans, your Peroty and Nitedemon. Your hunter on his deathbed, here by text only, is no one responds in real life. Our lore scribe, he's just off. He's blown us off again. So we brought in Andy, the warlock from down under, to tell us all the woes about playing on PC. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. Find us on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and really anywhere you type in Two Titans and a Hunter, we're there. Spotify, look for your favorite song, listen to us instead. We're better. You can find all your favorite Guardians everywhere, because nothing matters anymore. We're all on the internet together. We can all play together. It's beautiful. Just not in trials on PC. Sorry, not happening. You should listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere you find podcasts or sold. You should watch the show on YouTube. You should watch Respawn stream it. Twitch.tv/no one responds in real life. And with that, gents, our tri-continental show comes to an end. So tell the good people whatever you need to tell the good people. And wish them a good night.
Toodles.
Deuces and goodbye. I have a vault. I have it filled. I don't know what to do with it now. I filled it up.